I was wondering how long that banner was going to stay up there. Hey, you guys, happy Friday. A great Friday it is. So let's introduce our panelists for tonight. We have the AP, Trigger Mike, Trill, Chelsea, Enos, and Marky Mark. A few people be catching up with us later on, but my name is Shantae. Well, dang, my name is not Shantae. My name is Shan Monet, not to be confused. Damn, I'm just getting this. Okay, this is a long day.
Action. Take two.
My name is Shan Monet, formerly known as Shantae, and this is a Chic critique. Thank you, Marky Mark.
I got
It's been a crazy day for me. You understand me? Crazy. Shenanigans. That's what it's been. But we guys are all here. All right, you guys. Today we are talking about, are women too picky, or is there just a surplus of underqualified men? Which one is it? So this should be interesting. So just off the bat, what do you guys think? Just what is your opinion?
You don't want me to go first.
Oh, we already know.
Michael, tell us your truth.
No. I just came off 6 straight hours. I need a break. Y'all go. Somebody go. In fact, I nominate Marcus. He don't even respond in the group chat. So yeah, you first, bro.
Nah, look, let me tell you what's been going on. So my girl went to the hospital, and my son, he's at that stage now because he's 3 months or 2.5 where he can stay up now. So it ain't 2 hours feed then go back to sleep. So they playing this game of musical keep my ass awake chairs. So my oldest daughter, she'll try and stay up to my youngest daughter ready to fall asleep. Then she tags him. Then now my son has joined in this game and they've been tagging me, Joe. This shit has been bad. They've been getting me. I can't hold you.
Hey, you literally come in this show every week with the I just woke up face. It's crazy. It's crazy.
My whole life looked like the I just woke up face right about now. I can't hold you. But so is it enough qualified men? So it depends on what the qualifications is. So if you qualify men based off tangibles that are of a standard that only 20% just of men meet, by sheer mathematics, it's not enough for those men. But if you qualify men by tangibles that are more realistic based on what the average norm is or the average is for what men make, how tall men are, and then you base your designation on if there are enough men off of the characteristics that those men have, like are they emotionally intelligent? Can they maintain a conversation? Do they make you laugh? They might, you know what I'm saying? I use this example with the game sliders all the time when I talk about kind of like KS said, you gotta pick a struggle. So if you're extremely unattractive as a man, you can be extremely funny and then add some money into that game slider. And then you should be somewhere to get an equivalent mate. So I don't know if the game sliders is the issue or women just have an unrealistic amount of mana points that they expect them to have to be able to push all the game sliders up. So that's my answer. I'm gonna reserve being concrete on it though. I want to hear what these ladies saying they dating experience.
I think that is based off of the fact that a lot of women are looking for the superficial wants instead of more so the standards, right? It's a difference between the two, standards and superficial wants. And most women are claiming, obviously, we know the 6 figures, 6-pack, 6 feet, right? And I always say on my show, I said, okay, 6 feet, he could get amputated tomorrow and become 3 feet, right? What's going to happen then? Because you wanted him when he was 6 feet. And then also 6-pack can go 6 flat, okay? It all depends. And that's something that has to be maintained over time. And then lastly, 6 figures, he can go broke tomorrow. And then what you gonna do then? What's the backup plan on that? So I just think that most women are thinking about the money because we think a man should be a provider. However, if you're just basing what you want off of money, that's what you're gonna be, where you're gonna be disappointed because he could be having money but treat you some type of way. So I just think we have to get the standards separated from the superficial wants. And I think that's the problem with us women today.
So I'll jump in. I think the answer is both. I think that women have become increasingly picky, but I think there's also a surplus of underqualified men. And I say that because I think a lot of men are out here pretending to be what women are saying they want. and not being authentic to themselves, which is self-sabotage in a form. But I think women are disingenuous with what they're stating their expectations are, right? They're saying, I want the 666, but they're choosing men that don't look like that based on whatever criteria. You know, he's nicer to me, or he buys me nice things, or whatever it is, right? Um, I think on both fronts, people are being dishonest. So my answer is both. There's too many on both sides.
I would say
And
it's
I
definitely
would,
enough qualified men. Um, I mean, I think the issue is that a lot of women are under the assumption that they're qualified to be wives, and they're not. Like we say it all the time. Like most women are ready for the wedding, sure, but what actually comes with being a wife, not so much. And a lot of times, it's not until they get into the marriage that they figure that out. Right? It's I had assumptions. I thought we was going to be like this. I thought it was going to be like that. But wait, this is actually demanding a lot of me, and I didn't really realize how much that the requirements were going to go up. And that's why a lot of women leave marriages. Like, I mean, we can tie it to cheating, we can tie it to irreconcilable differences. But fact is that a lot of women walk into marriages not knowing what they sign up for. So I think if people, if they looked in that mirror and took an honest look at themselves and asked themselves, hey, am I really a wife? Am I really ready to support my man like that? Am I really ready to, do what, be in my feminine and support my man's structure and, tone down whatever my desires may be to have social media attention and things of that nature. Am I really ready to let my man direct me in terms of how I dress and let me know, hey, wait, that's a little too much. Am I really ready to let my man control my money, even though I may make more than him? Because he's the man and he's the leader of this relationship. Am I really ready? They look in that mirror and be honest with themselves. A lot of them would say no. And a lot of the ones saying no are the ones complaining about men not being qualified for them. So that's my answer.
This is why I'm gonna stop going after Trill. I should have took my chance the first time. So he's absolutely
I'm not
correct.
trying to follow you, Mike.
No, AP, I got to get this off because I got to piggyback off of what he said, and it's not even picking on women. And here's the funny thing about women. I've said it out of my own mouth. Women have to get their lives in order faster than men do. It is actually hard, and I'm acknowledging it as a man. It is harder for you to put your life together to perform the duties of wife than it is for me to get my life together to perform the duties of husband. Being a good husband is a lot like being a good man. You don't really change that much. You're already benevolent. You're already thoughtful. You have a mind to provide. You're probably on a good road to being a good husband. But a wife, it's such a sacrificial thing. You're responsible for so much once those children are born, right? So you have to have that mind for that mindset for it. And the reason why I'll say ultimately that it's not a lot of women out here that are ready to be wives is because let's get some of these women from other countries in here, and they'll show you that these men are qualified. They'll take them and show you what marriage looks like. If we're talking about money, they'll take that little 45 a year and they'll make something shake. They'll be like, I'll take that. We could do that. He doesn't have social skills. I don't need him to talk. They'll show you just how to do this marriage thing with this little amount of resources that we pretend men have, but they come from nothing. They're looking for a man with a stable income that goes to work every day. They don't have lofty, unrealistic expectations. So yeah, I believe that men are perfectly adequate for that type of woman. But in America, yeah, sure, they'll say the men are underqualified. My mic is muted.
Well, I kind of agree with Inaz as well as Trill and kind of what you said, Mike. But I think it's both. I think that there are a lot of men that don't qualify for what they want, and they don't understand that sometimes you have to adjust your expectations as well. There, women are delusional. Like I just think overall, the larger number of women are delusional about what they qualify and what men actually do, especially as husbands. But a lot of men don't know how to be husbands, and we too have to adjust our expectations to get exactly what it is that we're looking for. And that's all I'll add to that.
But see, real quick, AP, I just got a question. Do you feel like most men's hesitancy to get into a marriage speaks to them knowing that they're not really ready for that yet? Because I would say that most men that I know are not in a rush to be married like that. That's not very high on the priority list, if we're going to be honest. It's getting money, it's sustaining my lifestyle, buying my car, buying my house, getting my infrastructure set up, and then married somewhere, maybe 6, 7, somewhere on the list down there. But with women, most women, that's near the top. And I'm asking you, do you feel like men's hesitancy to dive into that speaks to the fact that we know that we ain't necessarily ready?
Not necessarily, because I think that if we understood that my opinion is we'd be better off getting married earlier and building with having somebody build with us or under us or however you want to define it. But I think that goes to where the woman is delusional with expecting a guy to come ready made with $100,000 and a 6-pack and whatever else she's asking for, which is why we get married later, because we're working to achieve those things prior to actually finding a wife, because we already know that the likelihood, or at least we believe that the likelihood of us finding someone who's willing to ride it until we catch that wave is slim. So I think we're trying to get ready made, and then we have to filter through all the bullshit to find somebody who's authentic and genuine and don't just want us for the resources that we have.
Okay.
So yeah, because I struggle with this one. So I'm just curious. Do you, Trill, you think if men would have been so a man at 18, if he had all the money he wanted and he was at his life, if he was at his the point in his life where he could find a woman that he wanted, right? Do you think he would be in the best position at that point, or does he become a different man at like at 30 than he was at 18? Like you give him a Lambo, you give him the watches, a chain, a condo or something on top of the city, and all the money he needs to go kick it, right? I know personally I would have messed that all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Until I like hit past that 25 mark. What you think? Do you think most men are like I'll say mature enough at that age to really go forward? And anybody?
I say hell no. Hell
Yeah.
no. Because fact is that up until 18, men have been programmed to do the exact opposite of what we talking about doing.
Yeah.
In terms of being husbands and things of that nature. Again, like I always say, most men are programmed to be snipers. They're not programmed to be monogamous, right? Women are encouraged to, yeah, girl, you find you a husband and, get your family started. Girl, when you gonna have me some kids? When we gonna get a marriage proposal or something? Like they get questioned about that every Thanksgiving. Men, not so much. Men, when we growing up, it's who can get the most numbers, who can have sex the fastest, who can, your pops and them telling you, yeah, boy, back in my day, I used to go to them school dances when it was real slow jams going on. I used to get about 10, 15 numbers when that back in the day when it was me. Right. So he's saying that, your uncle saying that, you and your boys competing on who can get the most women. And like I always say, women play a role in that as well, because most women, especially at that age, desire a man who a lot of women want. So all of this is pointing a man towards being a sniper, being a player, being a hoe. So when we 18, we still with that mindset, but now you drop a whole load of money in my pockets now, and now I got a whole new level, whole new flock of women, whole new level of influence. Most 18-year-olds is gonna go crazy because we don't even really know who we are at that point. I think we don't really start living for us until probably about 24, 25. Up until 18, you still living for what you think your parents want you to do, or what you think your OG in the hood wants you to. Yeah, you need to go get your degree, get engineering, stuff like that. And then you get in school and be like, I ain't got the mindset or the study habits for engineering. This might not be it. You see what I'm saying? But I think again around 24, 25 is when it hits you. Like, wait, no, this is what I want to do. I mean, I hear you, OG, I hear you, pops, I hear you, moms, but I want to go this way. And I think at that point is when you will be best suited to dive into a marriage, somewhere between 25 and 30. But 18. Dumping a lot of money and success in a man's lap? Hell no. He gonna crash out.
Yeah,
we see it all the time. We see it all the time in the NBA. You throw a lot of money at these young kids, and who are they 4, 5, 6 years later? We see it all the time.
Okay, so anybody else wanted to add to that? So I was gonna put the video up. Yeah, go ahead, chaotic.
Um, salute to the panel. I'm a little tired because I did a live stream earlier today, and I was on another show. It is Women's History Month, and salute to women out there. Um, I did a show the other day on the Lapeef Network. The Tuesday shows, and this topic ties in to what I talked about. Most men are ugly. Uh, most men are short. Most men look like Sean Kemp in the face. So by birth, most men are already unqualified just on a natural scale in nature. So the beauty of understanding that you're ugly, the beauty of understanding that you're short, the beauty of understanding that you look like Latrell Sprewell in the face is this, that you can become qualified. The beauty of being a man, in my opinion, is that we start off like a character in a movie. Most men start off as the underdog, and we have to fight our way to the top to build this character up, you know. And I think that's the beauty, and I think that's when men become qualified. Yes, there is a surplus of unqualified men, and I would only assume it's always been like that. And yes, women should be picky. You need to be picky because you want that qualified man to be able to send your offspring to the best schools, provide the best tutors, have that nice little nest egg in the future, maybe a business or something that can carry on. So yes, women should be picky. Um, so that's all I wanted to say on that note in terms of the title. Salute to you guys, by the way. Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, so we have a little video that we're gonna watch. Okay, let me pull it up because I never have anything ready.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been the chaser to it. I mean, to have an honest conversation about this, we have to be honest, and that is that men and women have different mating criteria. One quarter of men saying economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. 3/4 of women say that is important. And when you're on a two-dimensional format, where now it's 1 and 2 relationships begin online, it used to be 1 and 4 just a few years ago, it gets distilled down to a small number of criteria. Specifically for men, it's does she look attractive? And specifically for men, is he able to signal his ability to garner resources in the future? An average attractive male on Tinder gets swiped less than 1% of the time. And there's 3 men on Tinder for every 1 woman. So you've distilled it, you've taken out one of the key components of mating dynamics, and that is vibe, humor, body language, pheromones, the ability to be, quite frankly, a little bit persistent in the pursuit of a romantic relationship. We have no third places anymore, no places to meet. People aren't going to bars, they aren't sports league, they aren't going to church, they aren't even going to work. So it gets distilled down to very 1 or 2 dimensional attributes. And the reality is women are much choosier than men, and they can apply those screens, and they allocate all of their attention to a small number of men that results in just essentially at the end of the day, a lack of opportunities. Chris Williams summarized it perfectly. He called it the high heels effect. In the last 40 years, more women have graduated from college than men, and they're not interested in mating with non-college grads. They now own more homes, single women, than single men. So what you have is women say they won't date anyone shorter than them, 50% of them. Effectively, what you have metaphorically over the last 40 years is women have been getting taller and taller, and men have been getting shorter and shorter. How many of us have said, I know a ton of great single women, they can't find a date? That's not true. They can't find a date. They can't find a man they find economically or emotionally viable. If we don't make a massive investment in young people and make more economically and emotionally viable men, we're going to see a lack of household formation. We're going to see a decline in the middle class. And we're going to see, quite frankly, just a lot of young men who are terrible citizens.
So is the answer to fix experience in which they can evolve and learn from?
Sorry, I had something on in the background. So, how did you guys think about that?
Well, Shan, the beautiful white man that was speaking, he said the same thing that I said. I'm telling you, it's real, man. That's a lot of short, oddly looking dudes out here who can't get coochie because they think that they can just exist and they can't do it. And a lot of females, yes, unfortunately, have drank the juice. They've drank the Kool-Aid. He's right. A lot of women won't date a man who didn't go to college and get some stupid little underwater basket weaving degree. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful
You know,
white man. He was on point. Go ahead, guys.
you know what? This dude, I heard him make. I basically heard him make a commercial for the Passport Brothers. That's what I heard
Yeah.
because there's something going on, and I didn't know until I did some history that is
Hmm.
happening in America right now called the ethnic switch. It happens in pretty much every prominent culture. Other people want to partake in the culture, they move to the area because of, capitalism or commerce, whatever's going on in those markets. And then, of course, those women and men start to intermingle, even if they're not of the same races, whatever, what have you. But as the man was talking, I was like, oh, okay. He said economically and emotionally viable men. And I just kept thinking, oh, okay. So according to who? So, according to American women, American men are not economically and emotionally viable. But is that how all women feel about American men? Absolutely not. To a South American woman, we're perfectly economically and
Yeah.
emotionally viable. Here's the funny part about it that men now, of course, being too short, being too fat, you have to start looking at your strengths. So now I realize that the number one strength a man could have in a country where the women think we are economically and emotionally unviable is an American passport. Happy hunting, brothers. I ain't got no problem with you. Hey, I'm just glad to be off the market. My mic is muted.
And beyond, I think it just sounds like a bunch of excuses, man. It sounds like a bunch of excuses. Fact of the matter is, we not going backwards. We not. All that traditional elevator speech and people person, slow dances at the parties, all of that, dropping the kids off at the movies. Those days are over. It's over. So, what do we have left to do? Adapt. Same
Yep.
way we always have.
Mm.
Right? What do you do is you sit back and you study what works in this climate. And then you make yourself more attractive in that nature. Fact is that, just like Chaotic said, you might be ugly, you might be short, you
Yeah.
might be overweight. But the fact is money can be the equalizer in that. And just like I guess the opportunities to run into women in person have slimmed down, the opportunities to make money in this era has increased. So it would behoove you to pick up some skills or pick up some type of way in order to get multiple streams of income. And when that money get to rolling in, all of a sudden you being ugly don't matter no more. All of a sudden you being short don't matter no more. But it's about how bad do you want it. I mean, people be saying passport bro this, passport bro that. These dudes, if they're as broke as y'all say, what the hell make y'all think they got enough money to drop everything and just relocate overseas? Y'all know how much overseas plane ticket costs? And these same dudes complaining about $100 dinner. So I mean, at the end of the day, there has to be some type of self-improvement going on. We can't just drop everything and run because the game gets difficult. No, you adapt. You sit back, you study the playing field, and you figure out what ways can I be effective in this climate. The fact is, most men don't want to do that work. They don't want to study social media. They don't want to study ways to get money. Most dudes, just be honest here, most dudes don't even read for leisure. So you ain't even worried about getting smarter or
Yeah.
getting better degrees and things of that nature. It's a lot of men right now working at jobs that the job will pay to further your education. Do you think they call HR to ask about that? Hell
Mm-mm.
no. They gonna stay with that $14 an hour that they making, and I'm good with this, and I'm gonna complain and I'm gonna complain and I'm complaining about the women that don't want me instead of bettering myself to be able to navigate this field better. So
Well,
that's why I
I
feel
don't
like it just sounds like a bunch of excuses.
I don't disagree, but the thing is, no matter how we scale men getting better, the fact is that women now work too. There's a finite amount of resources. No matter how much a man works, he can only amass it. And no matter how much we adapt to it, we will actually always end up with about the same percentage of average men in the middle, right? It's only going to be a certain amount of people at the top. Every country, this is true. Only a certain amount of people at the top, most of the people in the middle in an American country like we have, and then people at the bottom which no one wants. I think it might look a little different because in what part of the world in a first world country does the average woman not want the average man? And unfortunately
Yeah.
that's America. So that's where we kind of at a crossroads today.
So I have a question about that, right? Because I think what Trill said was brilliant, and took the words right out of my mouth. We're constantly harping on women who are also overweight to go to the gym. We're harping on women to go to therapy so that they show up a little bit more feminine. We're harping on women to self improve. And yet we have this passport bro movement that's saying, well, we can't find them and we're not going to wait for these women to get it together. We're going to leave. And here's where like it gets a little bit complicated for me. They're not just going anywhere. They're going to places that have high levels of poverty. They're not
Yeah.
going to the Middle East where women are equally feminine and have, if not higher standards for men, right? They're not going to places where it's economically sound and they're expected to show up with the same expectations and receiving feminine women, traditional women. They're going to places and exploiting poverty to which those women are seeing as economically sound in comparison to the situations that they're living in, right? So is it really improvement or is it really just an excuse to continue to be subpar and not really measure up, right? Because when women are saying they're looking for somebody not only financially but socially acceptable, it's that drive, right? We hear all the time that drive, that willingness to provide, to protect, that ambition that comes in a man is really like one of those qualifying factors. And if the majority of men are not showing up with those things, why are we harping on women for saying it's not working? You're not qualified because you don't have that thing that you have chosen as a man defines you as a man.
Why do we think men aren't motivated? Like, kind of coming after what Trill said, like, why do you guys, anyone can answer, but guys especially, why do you guys think that they don't want to get better?
Can I answer that, guys? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marcus. Are you sure?
I'm just
Go ahead.
I just do a small piece because I had this conversation a couple of days ago, and one of them was saying that shout out to Ali. He was saying, why do men have to do all those things and then to find women that even if they meet the metrics and they build themselves up, that the women aren't qualified at that point because they're not natural women. He's saying, why would he do all of that stuff to get to a point, climb the whole mountaintop to get to the mountaintop, and that's not even really what you want? He said, what's the point? It's kind of like a lot of them, from what I'm understanding, feel like it's an unfair ask for what's being received at the finish line. About women not being traditional or not maintaining their virginity or something along those lines. But that wasn't the gist of it I got from.
So before you jump in, Chaotic, because I want to answer that question, I think it's pretty simple. The men who meet those qualifications don't ever complain about finding those women, right? And that's the simple truth. If you meet those qualifications, you have your pick of the litter and you get exactly what it is that you're looking for. That's why.
I'm just gonna be very brutally honest here to answer your question, Coach K. You said why, if I'm not mistaken, you said why aren't men changing, right? Well, Coach K, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm almost 40 years old. There was a time, Coach K, where men or boys, we went outside and we played all day and we built up bonding rituals like fighting each other that developed friendships, courting females. So that gave us, so we overcame anxiety because we had a little notepad and our little pens and stuff like that. Coach K, the answer is pornography. It is easy to stay in the house and masturbate to porn. It is easy to just order Uber Eats and just sit in your bed and just lay there all day.
With technology.
Yes,
especially with the first part. Yeah. Go on, sorry.
The loser, and by the way, I'm gonna be simping because this is Women's History Month. The loser incel male culture has created a safety net, just like the Me Too, not Me Too movement, excuse me, the body positivity movement. So it's cool to be a loser now. There's nothing wrong with playing video games all day and jerking to porn. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you know why? There's nothing wrong with being fat anymore. There's nothing wrong with being anything anymore. You can't, this is a participation trophy generation. So whether somebody goes to the gym or not, the person's going to get applauded by society anyway, because we're all woke, right? You can't talk about nobody because it's bullying. So that is the answer, in my opinion. Pornhub.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not metrics to like measure a man the way it used to. The thing is that like it's always been hard to get women. It's always have. Even back in the day, like it's always been the men who the toughest, the men who could fight the most, best, the man who was athletic, the man who looked the best, the man who had the most money. It's been that way since the beginning of the time. The only thing changes is the type of resources. But even back then, growing up, when you didn't know how to fight and you was a sucker and they was bullying you and things of that nature, you could either do one or two things, right? You could accept being invisible and not getting no women and getting laughed at and getting stuffed in lockers and getting ridiculed, or you could level up your hand skills in one way or another. You might have to take 2, 3, 4 ass whoopings before you get comfortable. But eventually you're gonna get comfortable. And then once you turn that narrative around, miraculously, the women just seem just a little bit easier to get. You know what I'm saying? Or if you was hustling, you cutting yards, you selling candy, 2 for 5s, 3 for 10s. I don't again, kids stay away from drugs. What I'm saying is this though.
What candy they sell 2 for 5?
Huh? No,
What?
no, no, no. See, that's the thing. I ain't talking about candy, but again, it's another conversation for another day. What I'm saying is this: you find a way to get to that bread, right? Whether it was selling candy, whether it was selling other things that's not advised that you should be selling, whatever the case may be. But when you got to that money, all of a sudden the women got a little easier to get, right?
Yeah.
So it was always hurdles. The difference is that back then we had to face them, but now we get coddled for not meeting it, right? They have panels and things of that nature where you got a support group of men and y'all both got the same plight, and we on this bitch just complaining together for 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours. I've seen happen. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, suck it up, do what you got to do to adapt to this field. Go in that backyard and get your ass whooped. Put them gloves on. Go back there and fight that bully. Don't come here with him stuffing you in lockers and you ain't trying to defend yourself. Nope. Go right back outside. And if you don't whoop him, I'm going to whoop you. That was the coddling that we got back then. But now, not so much. It's like, oh, yeah, you're right. This is these women's fault, man. You ain't got to improve yourself. You ain't got to worry about learn how to fight. You shouldn't have to make no more money. $10 an hour is good to take care of her. You don't have to strive for more. These women should want you. It don't matter how good she look. Don't matter how much money she make. She should want your average ass just because you a man.
Yeah.
That's what spaces are telling men these days, and that's enabling them to sit on their ass, as Chaotic so eloquently stated, watch porn, and not excel.
Yeah.
So again, it's always been hurdles. Get over them. Adapt to the field, because you running ain't gonna change that. Fact is, if you can get women here, you can get women anywhere. So why not level up and get to that point? Because I guarantee you, if I was single and I went to another country, it would be just as easy to get women there as it is here.
I got a hypothesis on why we having such trouble, because it's really two things I believe happening at the same time, and I'm gonna call it the dichotomy of purpose. All right, so I believe women have changed their focus to believe that their career is their purpose, but their actual purpose is family. And it has been said that only 10% of men will ascend to their true purpose without the need to serve a family. Right? They're just gonna get to the bag regardless. Right? So if women don't focus on family and men don't have a family to serve, you end up with the United States in 2023. So it's just a revolving door of bullshit, to where I know we want men to be on their purpose regardless. That has never worked in history. Most men do not level up. They don't buy houses. They don't do anything more than what they're doing just to maintain without a family. So that needs to be spoken to. So like I said, it's a revolving door, because as more women focus on career and not start families, the more men will just kind of be like, man, I'm good in this little 1-bedroom efficiency with, the big ass TV on the cardboard box and the futon. Y'all ladies know, because some of y'all smashed on the futon. Don't lie. All right, but that's neither here nor there. Y'all go ahead.
Nigga Mike, I got a question, because what does family look like? What does that look like to a woman?
Husband, children.
So you're saying that every woman that's born is meant to be a wife and meant to be a mother?
If she wants to have children, absolutely.
No, That's not what you said. You said
Yeah.
a family. So that means
Mhm.
that everybody is meant to be a mother and everybody is meant to be a wife.
More or less, yes. It's negligible. There are so few women that aren't that it's negligible. So yes.
So what do you tell the women who can't have kids?
Seriously?
Negligible. Negligible. Like I said, it's a
Can I ask my
negligible amount.
question without a
No,
seriously?
you're
I
right.
don't understand
You're right.
why we
No,
can't
I
ask
hear.
questions because
Do
you
you
were
think
asking
he's
questions
talking about
earlier
those
today.
women?
No, but hold on.
They
I
may
can
still
ask that
want.
Well,
question. I can ask that
hold
question.
on.
I
They
think
may
it's
still
fine
want to
without
have a
you interjecting.
family.
I think I'm talking to
Hold on,
Trigger
Coach K.
Mike, not you. But
Hold
thank
on,
you.
Coach K. Hold on, Coach. So, like I said, it's negligible. Most marriages involve children, and then now we can see that, like, let's say, not picking on black women, but they average the most births before the age of 22. So it's like they're going to have children regardless. So that we're not talking about women that can't have children. It's pretty a negligible amount of women.
If you're talking about, because you just said a woman's purpose is, you didn't say
Family.
like specific women or women who want families, that's their purpose. You're generalizing it. So I'm saying not every woman is capable of being a wife. Not every woman is capable of birthing children.
Mhm.
I think that that's valid enough to ask, because what do you tell
Yeah.
those women who are struggling with fertility, that they don't have a purpose anymore? And I'm speaking for those,
Mhm.
and I think I have a right to ask that question.
No, you
without it being-
absolutely do have a right, but I'm more of a macro analyst, not a micro. So that
Well,
is a
I'm just saying,
micro
if we're on
problem.
these platforms and we're talking about purpose, and there's a woman who's probably struggling with fertility,
Yeah.
I think when we
You
say
know
that,
what
we
I will
speak
say
to
to that,
those
what I
women and
will
have
say
some
to
type
that,
of sensitivity to that. That's all
okay.
I'm saying.
What I will say to that is that Trigger Mike talks about the general and the macro, and that for the women who need their voice heard, that's why they got B Taylor TV.
Sure. Can I go real quick? I'm just saying, I think when Trigger Mike says that to come to this conversation in good faith, we know that he's talking about women that can have children, but I don't think any of us can honestly say that we would negate these women who unfortunately have endometriosis or have whatever types of issues where they're infertile, that they can't be a mother, because obviously there's adoption. My stepmother, she was in this case, she doesn't have any kids, but she married my dad. She has 3 daughters now, basically. And lucky for us, my mom was a piece of work, so we all won. But I'm just saying that, of course, I think for majority of women, majority, not all, that their purpose, their innate purpose is to be a mom and to have a family.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in because I was listening to the clip that watching the clip that we just listened to. I just want to dissect a piece of what he said. He said that women are more educated. So if we're talking about don't want men who haven't been to college, what happens when every man's gone to college and we no longer have people to work in the sewers? We no longer have people to collect the garbage. We no
Exactly.
longer have people to work the recycling plants. Like we still need those jobs done. And no offense to women, but women aren't going to do that shit. So
No
what
pun
happens to
intended.
those? What happens to those jobs? And do those men, just because they may have a barely a high school education, do they not qualify for a family? Is that what we're suggesting? Those men don't qualify for a family? I don't
What?
typically,
Yeah.
you guys know, I don't typically go after the women because I believe it's up to men to make the change. Period. But
So
Yeah. But
when
you're
when I
kind of
when I
speaking
talk when
to
we talk about delusional, that's a piece of the delusion because there are still tons of things that happen to make the society run by people who don't have those formal educations. So I'm just curious.
so I think that's a great question, AP, but I'm gonna say this, right? In having this conversation very genuinely and very authentically, there's a small group of women that are unfortunately too loud about education being formal, right? When women are saying they want an educated man, they just want somebody who can keep up in certain conversations. I want to be able to bring you around my friends who went to college and you don't feel out of place in the conversations that they're having. Can you have an elevated level of conversation? Can you display a certain level of intellect, of foresight, of strategic thinking? can you engage in conversation and things that may not necessarily interest you, right? When you're talking about people getting married, you're looking at merging lives, right? That means we have a shared friend group, we share social circles. These are now things of everyday life. And so when women are going to school and they're being trained to have conversations at certain levels, if we're honest, it's embarrassing to both parties if your man shows up and feels completely out of place in any conversation that you're regularly having. That doesn't necessarily mean that he has to have a formal education. I think the majority of women don't care if you have a formal education. The internet is free, resources are free, trades are great. Women who are looking for six figures, men in the trades, a lot of them are doing it, right? There are some women that are classist and need that piece of paper and need it to be a white collar job, but that isn't the majority of women. They just are the ones that are the loudest.
And you bring up such a great point, because me being a software engineer, right, I'm not wanting a man who may have a bachelor's degree. I'm looking forward to a man who has a skilled trade. Like, shout out to all the men who have skilled trades, because I want you to be the handyman, you can be the electrician, you can be the plumber, you can be the carpenter. But as long as you bring in something to the table, other than like a high school education, right? Showing that you had a little bit enough drive to go past that high school education and get something greater that can last you a lifetime is really what I'm looking for. So I agree. Any man should be able to have a family, but it's the fact that at least have some type of trade, some type of knowledge of something that can help us when we need it.
So I need a full consensus from all the women on the panel. Are we saying that college educated women are willing to date plumbers?
This college educated woman is, okay, because a man, just because he
I
has a
need to
degree,
hear
he
it.
have a
I
lot
don't
of
want y'all to dance around it. I need to hear it outright. Because I got dudes for you. I get y'all married by next month. What's
I'm
up?
already married, but yes.
I think there are a lot of women that would date a man that don't even
But
have a degree
what
or
about
any
you,
type of
Taylor?
specialized. I'm not speaking for me, but I
Oh,
can say there's a lot of women with a bachelor's degree or higher would date an average guy. There's plenty of them. They'll go for less. It's women that's highly educated with men who ain't bringing nothing to the table for them.
Well, we also got to. I said plumber. That's not an average salary. That's above average.
Yeah.
A plumber, that's what I'm saying. They take less than that. So yeah, I think it's the plumbers trying to go for a certain. I think the mistake is men like that go for a certain type of woman, and that's where they go wrong. They go for a woman that's in the top 10% or a 10, and they're aiming too high. Just like y'all tell women we're aiming too high. He's aiming too high. Because she's around a certain type of men who are probably making well over $300,000 a year. She's used to that. She's used to that lifestyle because that's the type of men that she qualified for. So I think when the plumbers stop trying to reach for the women who are who's a 10 and used to a certain type of lifestyle and just go for women who are just average women, educated women as well, he'll have no problem. But they don't want those type of women.
Wait, whoa, B. Taylor. I'm not sure that tracks. I think men are going. So in my opinion, or rather what I've observed, is that men do go after these type of women. They're used to getting bust down by the dude that make 300,000, but he won't marry or commit to them. And she looking at him like he's less than. What do y'all got to say?
So what I think what she's saying is, you, even when it comes to looks, that's a stat, because men prefer looks, okay? Just like women prefer money. So if you date in your tribe, as we like to call it, then you shouldn't go wrong. Like I've mentioned plenty of times, educated women are not the majority. We are the minority. Only 30-something% of Black women, while we're growing, have a degree. So there are 70% that do not. Okay, that's the majority. Okay, so with that being said, if this is not who's trying to date you, then just go. They're not the majority. Go to the minority. You know, when it comes to, as far as looks are concerned, okay, you trying to go for the 10. Okay, maybe she's in La La Land because she usually dates 300. That's her problem. She does not want somebody who wants you. Always go for your partner, because your partner will want you. You should not be aiming for somebody who does not want you. Period.
Yeah, I'm saying that the narrative. I think the narrative was reversed there. I think that it's women that go more for men that they can't qualify for, get upset when that man won't commit to them. It's not really men that go after women they can't qualify for.
I agree with you're saying, but if she wants to be delusional and be a side chick all her life, let her side chick it out. That's just something
okay.
she
Oh
has,
shit! All right.
she
I
just
mean,
has to
my bad. I misunderstood. Side chicks up 100,000. My bad. My bad. My bad.
I mean,
bad.
I don't even want to. I
let
don't
me
even want to crap on those type of women. It's just like,
No, we not.
let
Hey,
me
let
just
a
say
hoe
this
be a
real
hoe.
fast,
Y'all
B.
know.
Taylor. Let me just say this real fast. That's not if she already has a preference in her mind, or if she already has something. There's nothing you can do to make her.
Oh,
So go for
I
somebody who loves you.
misunderstood. I
And
misunderstood.
and trust me, the majority are not educated. I know where they're growing, we're the fastest growing, but we're not the majority. So date the majority.
Got you.
Okay, I 100% agree that people should try and date within they range, right? But here's where this get really, 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 really tricky. If we naturally had a equivalent component, right? A equivalent spouse, man and woman. Once you throw makeup, BBLs, and Instagram filters, now somebody that naturally would have matched up with a 6 in real life now believes they're a 10, and the whole data metric is thrown off. How do we counter for that?
You just don't. She's not for you. She does not want you. What people don't understand, you can get a 10. It's a 10s who date 3s all day. They do. You be like, how he get her? Because she wanted him. It was something about him that she wanted. We see it all the time. It be mismatched. You be like, dang, how he? We don't even know what the secret is. If she wants you, she wants you. Stop trying to go for women who don't want you. Because it's never. If she does not want you, you're not going to get all the perks.
And there's some men with some big women, and they get those big women in the gym. I've seen it all over TikTok where a guy was like with this woman, and people were like, "Why are you with her?" And he got her in the gym losing weight and everything. So he saw the potential there to work with her. I mean, we could talk all these talking points all day, but average people are getting with average people.
They are.
Yeah,
If women
I
are
agree.
married,
That was
everyone
my
I'm
point.
invited to my house to clean to do whatever got to do, they're all married. So
Oh, that's
let's
my
not
point.
act like they're not getting married, because they are. Every garbage man that comes pick my garbage up, he got a kid and probably a wife. They getting it in, okay?
Yeah, but he
Somebody-
also Mexican, so we also Mexican. Let's just.
No,
They don't got these
Man, why are
problems.
you saying like that?
They don't got
because
these
those men
problems.
work really hard. They work really hard, and they provide for their family by any means.
I know.
It's not a shot at the man. That's the main complaint. They saying that their women will accept them at that. And
No,
the
their
complaint
women
in the
accept
case
them
is our
because their
women won't
women
accept
trust and believe that their man will go out and work several jobs to provide for that family. That's the difference.
Only 7% of men work several jobs.
Well, those
Every
are the
other man has
7%.
one job that he can sell more. I
This
don't
is
know.
my thing. I
No,
feel
some
like
of them
if
jobs
you
are not
know,
recorded. You're saying 7%, but some of those jobs are not recorded. Like painting houses, they're not going to go to the IRS or whatever and file taxes to paint houses. Like they're getting paid.
So Pookie that's selling dinners out of his house right now. That job ain't recorded either. He don't get credit for that.
They do
He's
get
selling
fake
plates
social
right
security
now.
numbers.
Nickel Reggie.
He's selling plates right now.
Cutting hair in the garage.
You know what I
Just
mean?
roll by
Hey,
that.
if he doing that, I commend him all day for that. As long as he
Why
got
you only recognizing Jorge job? Why won't we recognize Pookie job?
Pookie better
ain't
get that
selling plates.
LLC. He better get the LLC to make it
Pookie
official.
using his baby mama food stamps to get those plates going. Stop playing.
That's called ingenuity. You gonna get off Pookie neck,
I bought a catalytic converter from Pookie last week. I don't even know where he got it from.
let me just
$70.
tell you, while we're sitting here talking, them pookies be having baby mamas. They be having women who be giving them an opportunity. If you listen here, if you don't have the intellect, you better have a body. You gotta have something. You can't just be up in here doing what you want to do. Let's not.
Now, Shan, because right there where you contradicted yourself. You contradicted yourself
Trail,
a
be
little
quiet.
earlier.
I liked you 5 minutes ago. You
Contradicted yourself a little earlier. I gotta call it out. I gotta
go ahead,
call it
Trail.
out.
Go ahead. What did I say that contradicted? So I can clarify. Go ahead.
Because what you said was, hey, now people need to date within their lane, date people
Sure.
on your level, do this, do that, and then 2 seconds later you said, yeah, I mean, we see dudes who ugly as hell, out of shape, all types of. How the hell did he get her? How did he get her? You said because she liked him. But my question is, to point out the contradiction, how would he know? Or how would she know she liked him if he didn't shoot his shot and at least try to shoot outside of his league? The fact is that people have aspirations. Because if that was the case, why go for a promotion at the job? Why do people play lottery every week? Why do people, you know what I'm saying, aspire for better things? You don't know. I mean, your regular life, you've been average as hell. You're making whatever money you're making, but you still gonna shoot. You still gonna attempt. And in one instance, you kind of denouncing that and ridiculing and saying stay in your lane, and then on the other end, you saying, well, hey, we see somebody shaking with some women that we don't. But fact is, he had to shoot to see. So which side is it?
So this is what I'm saying. The same way, I'm not saying that people shouldn't try. You should, if you like something, if you go out to the grocery store, by all means, try to do whatever you do. Just don't get upset if the answer is not. Shoot your shot. Just like women shooting their shots at millionaires. Shoot it. Don't get mad if it don't go in. But RV take advantage of you. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying you can't be upset if it did not work out for you. Either way it goes. Okay. But by all means, absolutely shoot your shot, you know?
You know what? You guys just kind of, I just got kind of triggered for the first time on YouTube.
Triggered?
Triggered. I have literally been triggered. It was just inferred that black men are lazy. That was just inferred. That was the wait a minute. That was just inferred when B. Taylor talked about Jose and the garbage truck, and he got 50 other jobs, and they women know they working hard. So you mean to tell me that we black men, we just kind of sitting around waiting on shit to happen and we're not doing anything?
Wait, hold on, AP. When black men make more than Hispanic men do, deal with that.
Let me say this.
Let me say that because that was directed towards me. I would say I'm sorry that you were triggered and internalized.
That was a joke. I wasn't really triggered. It was funny.
Okay, I'm sorry that you internalized that to say that because I never mentioned race. I never said black men anything. He mentioned Mexican men, and I commended Mexican men for working hard to provide for their families. I'm sorry if that offended black men that I commended Hispanic or Mexican men for working so hard to provide for their family.
Yeah, we're talking about all men. We're not talking about, I want to make sure we understand, because I'm pretty sure the CNN guy was not talking about black men. I think he was talking about a group of men, period, of all races. I don't think that he was talking about black men. So let's just be clear on that. Because we have black men who are doing big and great things.
Now they patronizing it. God,
no, I'm sorry. Every black man I know is doing great things. So,
and I used the word infer. I didn't say that you necessarily said it.
It's gonna be a long night. I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back.
So, while Trigger Mike is on his coffee break, I want to jump in and say this because Shan, I think what you were saying makes sense in theory, right? Like you should just date people in your tribe, stay in your lane, however people want to phrase it. I think where it becomes muddy is that people associate to a tribe the rest of society doesn't ascribe them to, right? And that's why people get mad, because they feel entitled to people they may not necessarily be I don't want to say worthy of, because that's not the right thing, who may not want them, right? And that's where that anger comes from, is I see myself this way, why don't you see me that way too, right? It's not that I'm shooting above my league and now I feel entitled, right? They see themselves as the same league as those people. And that's where it gets kind of complicated, because how do you tell somebody that's not your lane, you need to be over here?
They figure that out when they keep trying to go for that person and they keep being rejected. They're gonna have to aim a little lower.
All it takes is one. I mean, it's just like in the corporate world. You have somebody who go to work late every single goddamn day, every day. Now they may do decent work, they do just enough to keep the job, but when they apply for that promotion and they don't get it, they gonna be mad as hell. It don't matter that I show up late every day. That ain't the point. I see myself as managerial material, you know what I'm saying, manager material. If I get in that spot, I'm gonna do my thing. You see what I'm saying? So they had the same mindset, and that's why it's kind of hard to say. And don't get me wrong, because I used to subscribe to the same thing. I used to say, man, stay in your tier or whatever the case may be. But fact is, people have aspirations, and if they stay in their tier at that point, then they gotta, you basically teaching them to settle in every aspect of life. Why have aspirations at all? What you doing right now, that's who you are. That's your circle. The money you making, that's your ceiling. Stay there. Settle with that. I mean, most people not gonna do that. Most people are gonna shoot and they gonna aspire and they gonna be disappointed if it don't happen. That's just honest. But again, hopefully they can look in that mirror, do some self-analysis, improve, and do what it takes to qualify at that level. I think the crime is that when you want to get there or you want to be in that circle or you want to sit at that cool table or whatever the case may be, but you're not working to, attain the accolades or the shallow whatever that it takes to get there, whether it be money, whether it be status or whatever. That's what you need to be working on if you want to be there. But if you're good where you at, then chill. But again, most people have aspirations.
And you gotta be okay with a mate who's good where you are. You guys have to be compatible in that sense.
Do y'all think that line of thinking could contribute highly to the divorce rate? Because I truly believe that a lot of the divorces are happening because people may have qualified at the time for somebody that they necessarily wouldn't qualify for, and as that person elevated, then they out. That's where you hear that I graduated from marriage statement and all those things. I think it's an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, especially from a male perspective, which goes back to what we said earlier about the dumping all that money into an 18-year-old lap. Right? It's because when I was 18, my options was this. Now and as I elevate, which we all know, men, reach their financial peak, I think somewhere around 40 something or something like that. So the older he get, the more money he making, the more his lifestyle improved, the better the car, the better the house, things of that nature. And a lot of dudes will start looking at their women like, Like back then when I qualified for the 4, it was cool. But now I'm making 6 figures. I'm driving a, AMG. I got a 3,000 square foot house. I feel like I deserve a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So he gonna have way less tolerance for what you ain't doing before he just go out and start seeking what those other options that are throwing themselves at him at this point. We're gonna be honest. Let's establish that. Throwing themselves at him, he's gonna be more likely to entertain that. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that man. Look, as you grow, you just pointed it out. As you grow, it's not necessarily that she's not keeping up. It's now you see all of the other options that are available to you because they start to present themselves. You don't have to do anything. They see it like, ooh, this brother right here. Let me see what he's about. Oh, he's married. I bet I'm fatter than his bitch, and that's what happens. And it's like shit.
Tap, we just gave B Taylor our ass on the silver platter. Cause go ahead, B Taylor.
I know it.
So doesn't that mean that women should get with a man that's already well established and not the plumber and not the man that's an average earner? Because if he gets with you at a time where he hasn't reached his financial peak, then you're not really what he wants. You're what he can get at the moment. So then y'all want to go back and question why women want to get a man at his peak. It's because we want to see if you really want us. Y'all just set yourself up with that one.
No, so I totally disagree, B. Taylor, and this is why, right? I think that as much as we accuse men of becoming stagnant, women also become stagnant. Because if that man is increasing in his wealth, if she has a growth mindset too, we've seen what money does for women. We've seen how she goes from a 4 to an 8 to a 10 with money. There is no reason while that man is continuing to peak that you can't be going along with him, right?
And I disagree with that again, because at the end of the day, you can say, we can be delusional and say, you can go from a 4 to a 10. No, you can't. If you're a 4, the highest you can get is probably a 6 or a 7 at most. You're not going to go from a 4 to a 10 unless you surgically do something to yourself. And that's one case scenario where a woman is stagnant in herself. I'm talking about if that woman, he met her how she was, she kept up with herself, but he's at a point in his time in his life where you're probably a 6 and he's like, man, I'm making money that's attracting 10s. That's nothing you can do about it. If that man wants to do that, there's nothing you can go get plastic surgery, bigger boobs, all this stuff. And that's not going to change that man's mind if that's not where he wants to be.
So B. Taylor, I think that there's a really big difference between men who find women later in success and men who found success through a relationship, right? If if she's helped him build or has supported him as he's grown and she's keeping herself up, there are very few, regardless of what social media says, there are very few of those men that are going to leave that relationship. Will they stray from time to time? Likely, right? But they're not going to leave that relationship
What do you
because they
mean stray
understand
from
the
time to
value of
time?
it.
What do you
Cheat,
mean stray?
cheat.
So you're
Hey,
saying
hang
that
on,
women
hang
should
on, hang on.
put
I
up with a
wasn't
man
finished.
that cheats?
I wasn't finished. So I think we've heard it so often from the average guy, from the Pookie and Ray Ray to the successful guy. Men at any financial stage are going to stray, right? The likelihood of it is really high at this point. It doesn't
Where are you
matter
getting
where you
these
stand.
stats though that prove
Right?
this? Where are these stats? Because you're using maybe two case scenarios. We're talking about in general. These men have just said, no, I'm listening to the men. The men just said that they're going to go for women when they reach their financial peak. They may look at their woman to the right and be like, I'm looking at the woman to the left because I didn't qualify for the. This is really what the men are just saying. I didn't just pull this out of nowhere.
I hear
I'm
you.
piggybacking off of what the men just confirmed to
I
say,
hear
and then
you.
you give a case scenario of, well, if she stayed fat, then that's why. Or you gave another scenario. It's like, well, he may cheat on you a couple of times, but you just try your best and stay that same woman that you what? Like,
No, that's actually not at all what I said about stay that same woman. What I'm saying is keep up. The whole point of partnering up as a woman is to get on this man's program. And if he's elevating on his life and you want to stay where he started, you're now holding him back. You are now the problem, right? And I think a lot of women are not willing to acknowledge that because they're comfortable. You need to get uncomfortable and you need to level up with that man and understand what your role is in his life if you are married to him, right? If he, hang on a second, because I didn't cut you off.
I
So
was
if
not even
he,
talking. You need to relax and us. Like I wasn't even
no,
talking. I'm
so
taking
you've
in what you're
interrupted me
saying, and I
multiple
didn't even
times.
say anything. So you're jumping the gun before I even said anything. I'm just
Right, but
taking
you've
in what you're
interrupted
just
me
saying.
multiple times.
So
I
go ahead and
anticipated it.
continue.
That's all. It's cool. So women get way too comfortable in what they're doing and then blame the man for straying when that man says like you are no longer what it is that I'm attracted to. Whether it's your weight, whether it's your mentality, whether it's what you're offering in the relationship, if you are not keeping up, that partner, there's no alignment. There isn't any alignment. There's no substance to the relationship, right? And if we're talking about men cheating and you got to put up with that, men do that at a lower income rate than the high value guys. So women are dealing with cheating regardless of that man's success level, regardless of his income. Women are being cheated on. And if you want stats on that, have conversations with people in your circle. There are very few women that I've ever had a conversation with that have not been cheated on. It is that common that the majority of women have had at least one or two experiences of being cheated on. It is that common,
Okay, I
right?
didn't want to
What
pull a
I'm
stat
saying
about the
is if
cheating.
that man chooses to not be there anymore on his own accord, that's on him. But if you are not doing what you need to in that relationship, that's on you. People have their separate responsibilities in the relationship.
But that's not what they said. That's not what they said earlier. They said,
All right, let's settle this. Gentlemen, how y'all feel?
Right. So real quick, let me go first. Let me clarify because that is what I said. If you remember, I said when that man started getting that money, he started looking at his girl like, he gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing, which means that you are not improving. The shit that you wasn't doing when we first met, I had a little tolerance for that back then. But now I'm making more money. I done elevated myself, and you still not doing shit. I'm gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing. So what she's saying is right. I need you to elevate with me. And again, that's where you understand it kind of gets fuzzy because it's the same thing that women say, right? In terms of it's like we be saying, well, hey man, would you date a man making 50,000, marry a man make 6,000? She'd be like, yeah, but I mean, do he have aspirations? Do he want to be the manager? Do he want to be like the CEO eventually or something? I mean, I date him if he got aspirations, you know what I'm saying? But if he just stay at the 60 or to stay at the 40, I don't know. So again, give men that same situation. If I'm elevating and I'm getting to that bag, I need your ass elevating too. You need to be in the best shape of your life. You need to be bringing me way more value than you was bringing me when we first got together. But if you're still moving status quo, I'm gonna have way less tolerance for that now because I'm up. and I'm elevating, and you need to be doing the same. That's what I meant.
Trill, let me ask you a question. So where did the term build a woman come from? The build a woman. Like the woman that
Trigger Mike made that
I
up.
don't know if that's the right term. Huh?
Barbara the Builder. That's
Barbara
who
the
it is.
Builder or
Yes.
whatever, or the come up woman. Where did that term come from if these weren't the scenarios?
That came from a woman that was complacent. Again,
And
when I was making 40,000 and I was messing with you, what you was doing was acceptable, but you stayed in the same spot. So that's why you are the come up woman. You're not elevating with me. I need you to move with me when I'm going up, but you ain't elevating. Matter of fact, you getting more comfortable. You getting more lazy because I got more money now, so I can take away a lot of the shit that I may have seen as attributes when we was together, i.e. the cooking. Now all of a sudden we got a chef, the cleaning. Now all of a sudden we got a cleaning lady there 2-3 days a week. So you getting late, raising the kid. Then you're a great mother. Now we got a nanny in the house. So the more I elevate, a lot of times, the more lazy the woman it gets. So that's what they mean by the come up woman. The shit that I seen value in back then, I don't see that from you now. And I need somebody that's moving at the same pace that I'm moving. And unfortunately, that just ain't you. It's just not.
So you would base that off of the things that she's just doing, like cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. Like that's the basis of it. Because I mean, if you think about it, if you've been married to somebody for over 10 plus years, and you know what, you're making more money, then she's able to focus on other things instead of cleaning all day. Like, you know, because
Right.
y'all have a big family and stuff like that. So I just the come up woman is a term and it's been used a lot, and we've all probably seen the come up woman, the first wife, the woman that was with the guy when he was in school and going through, and she's a decent looking woman, but he went for the 10.
I'll give you an example, right? Because again, the cooking and the cleaning and shit was just a example of benefits that I value when I was younger and I didn't know no better. But what I mean by growing with me, I feel like mentally is the most important aspect of it.
That's true.
See, back in the day when we first got together, we was tripping on, simple shit, going down there, spending that, $30 at Chili's and things of that nature. But the conversations was real limited because we was young and we was inexperienced. But again, I'm elevating, I'm leveling up. So now I might have way more of an interest in politics. I may have way more of an interest in foreign affairs. I may have way more of an interest in things that I just didn't have an interest in. And again, you being my woman, if you're not elevating with me, I can't have those conversations with you. So we are distancing ourselves from a mental perspective, along with, like I said, me making more money and me taking that cooking off your plate, me taking that cleaning off your plate, me taking that mothering off your plate. So all of those things, it's a cumulative thing. But most importantly, it's mental. You don't have the same aspirations as I do, and that's the problem.
And can I give a real life personal example? This is actually what happened with me on the first time. As I'm elevating, I'm now meeting with city officials. I'm actually in the mayor's office 2 times a week. Community
You're cutting out, AP.
grow even
So
further.
AP, you need to get some
Am
real
I?
live
I'm
internet.
sorry.
Yeah,
Bruh,
you got
hey,
that
look,
Bell Atlantic.
hey, it's pretty solid around here. It's crazy.
You got that Bell
Let me
Atlantic,
know.
bro. That AOL.
Is it better now?
Yeah, keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay. So I'm trying to elevate and move forward. Can you guys hear every word now? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things she actually said to me is, "Why are you doing this? Aren't you happy?" No, but I might be happy, but I'm not content. Let's keep moving. Let's move this ship. Let's keep going. And that was the beginning of the end, because with that statement, I checked out. She wasn't there with me. I'm gone. She was there in the beginning, helped me build this thing, and then suddenly she got comfortable. But I'm not done. So I checked out.
Did you
And I think that's kind of what we were talking about.
communicate that with her?
Do what?
Did you communicate that with her before you checked
Absolutely. I'm a great communicator. Absolutely, I did.
I'll give you a perfect example, just real quick. Let me bring it to more of a shallow place. I don't know how many of y'all watch Power, right? When Ghost was selling
Tasha and
drugs,
Ghost.
right?
Yeah.
Tasha was all riding with him. I'm riding with him. I'm supporting. I'm books. I'm hiding the money. I'm doing this, that, and the third. But when Ghost came to her and said, "Look, baby, this illegal shit ain't gonna last. I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to start my club. I'm trying to turn this money legal. I understand that you done been riding with me since day one. I understand that you helped me build this, but this ain't working for me no more. This is this is small-minded stuff. You understand me? And I'm trying to expand. I'm up here meeting with billionaires and millionaires, and I'm in rooms with these people, and they like, okay, well, where's your real estate? Where's your property? Where's your this? Where's your that? I just got a damn closet full of money right now. I'm moving wrong, and I'm trying to elevate to that. But what did Tasha look him dead in his eyes and say when he tried to express that to her? She looked that man dead in his eyes and said, "A club? No, you supposed to be the biggest drug dealer in New York City." But then when the man go out there and cheat, he a monster for that. Or try to leave her, he a monster for that. And his kids hate him, all type of stuff. That is an example of what I mean by, again, you might have been my starter chick, but just like Smooth say, you was a stepping stool for me, baby. That's just what it was. My mind ain't there no more. I'm thinking bigger. I need you to think bigger. And if you can't keep up, I'm gonna leave your ass right back down there at that mindset.
So who's the complacent one?
I just want to add that Angela was totally down with the club idea. By the way, I just want to.
Yeah, she knew. She knew to it.
She was
trust her, but I think it's interesting that if the guy starts changing his aspirations or whatever, even if it's not so much monetarily, but maybe, I guess, recognition, then maybe it's a problem. But then you hear women also saying, "Oh, you're a plumber, yeah, but." You're gonna own the business? Are you gonna do this? You're gonna do that? So it's like, well, which is it? You know what I mean? So it's like, I would think that, well, when I'm married, which I am, I'm here for it all. I don't care what it looks like, whether it's, in just life challenges or whether it's challenges that we choose on our own to evolve and grow. So it's like, it's not gonna be just a linear progression. There's gonna be shit. But yeah.
I think this highlights why it's so important to understand what your life plan is or what you can see potentially for yourself in the future. Because from what I'm hearing, it sound like if work or your business goals are that important to someone, then they absolutely have to elevate with you. For me, that's I know it goes back to the conversation that we have where I said like one of the most important things for me was willingness, right? So even if you didn't possess the skills at that time, if you were willing to learn or willing to change with me or willing to do all those things, I could always come back to that and work with you from there. Because I know like you might not have got it right off the bat, but because you're willing to listen, because you're willing to learn, because you're willing to grow, I can always elevate with you. But it goes back to willingness. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, and that right there is a great point. And any man who's not, because again, it's your job, you the leader, to try to bring her along. It's a lot of dudes, to be to the point, just keep it real, elevate and don't give her the chance. Elevate and now my eyes is elsewhere, baby. I ain't trying to elevate you. I ain't trying to give you that 5,000 so you can go down there to Dr. Miami and get that body right the way that I may want it now, or trying to put you in school so you can get that education and more so you can grow with me and you can stand on your own in these business meetings and these business dinners with these high value people and things of that nature. A lot of men ain't trying to pour into their woman that way. They just trying to leave her.
Trill, come on, man. Come on, Trill. That's not true.
Trill, she's too busy supporting his dream. She's busy taking care of the house. She's busy.
So we're just gonna support terrorism on this channel tonight? No,
y'all know. I gotta call it like I see it because
I know.
Because I have seen that. I have a dude just move around just based on looks. When again, you can spend that money and get your girl looking how these women that you know what I'm saying, aspire or you think is a 10 or whatever, you can spend that 5, that 10 bands, she go get her teeth done, go get her body looking right, and then you'll be good. But a lot of dudes don't want to do that. They'd just rather go out there and get the woman who already look like that. That's just real. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not saying you're gonna lead a relationship.
Okay, all right. That's my only part.
So yeah, I'm like,
all right. We in agreement. We typically don't lead.
We gotta understand. We have to understand that, especially in the realm of men, it's actually different for women. A man's advancement is directly tied to his family's advancement. All right. Anytime a man level up, his entire family's gonna level up with him. What we're seeing is actually when a woman level up is fuck everybody. I'm gonna start acting different.
She gonna say bye-bye.
Exactly. I'm gonna start acting different, nigga. I ain't washing the dishes. Now what? But I'm
Wait,
sorry.
hold on. What do you mean she don't want? Wait, what do you mean like a woman level up and she don't want to start
D
watching?
Taylor, you know
You gotta give
exactly
me an
what I
example.
mean.
You gotta give me an example. What do you
All
mean?
right, let me qualify it. Is a man allowed to control a woman with money? Is it frowned upon
Control a
for
woman.
him to level up in life and just start making ridiculous demands of his wife and ignoring her, start acting different, going out with different women, all this type of stuff? It's not. It's frowned upon for a man to do that. But what we're noticing in society is that when women level up, it's like, I don't do nothing no more. I don't want to listen. I don't want to acquiesce to your demands. I don't want to negotiate anything. Or I'm sorry, I do want to negotiate or renegotiate every gender role we've ever had. That is what we are seeing now in this level up.
Wait, level up with money or level up with her looks? Like, which one are we talking about?
No, money. I'm talking about money.
Okay, so she makes more money. She all of a sudden
wants to renegotiate gender roles.
Let's put it like this: when you met that man, you was making 40,000. He was making 60. You done been working your job about 5 years or so. You get a promotion. Now instead of that 40 you making 100, 110. He's still at 60. So what Trigger Mike is saying is that most women, even though when you got into the relationship, you had the utmost respect for this man. He was a stand-up guy, this, that, and the third. A lot of qualities you like, and very key, he was making more money than you. So you felt more comfortable following his lead, following his direction, things of that nature. But again, we done been in this thing 5 years. You still at 60. I'm at 110 now, and you ain't really showing no signs of elevation. What Trigger Mike's saying is that most women in that situation. Now that there are some exceptions, salute to all 7 of those women on earth. But what I'm saying is this. Most women in that situation, now that I'm making this 110 and 2 years then passed, and you still at 60, and I'm elevating and elevating and elevating, she gonna lose more and more and more respect for that man.
I got something to say with that.
I'm gonna go after you.
I actually been in a situation where I was making a certain amount of money, and then I got like a huge pay raise. And what y'all don't talk about is how men be jealous of you and jealous of you making more money than them.
That I actually agree.
I'm saying if your job all of a sudden start paying you like so much money and it's making more than him, and you coming in like, yeah, babe, then he's like, oh, that's good, that's cool. Then he start moving different, moving weird.
Hey, I think that's pretty natural. I think that's a pretty natural response.
That doesn't make you.
Well, hold on. I think that's a pretty. Well, I'm on your side. I'm not gonna negate what you're saying. I think it's pretty natural for a man to be like, damn, that's crazy, right? Because it not only happens with your friends, so it's gonna happen with your woman. In fact, you might even feel that worse in your own home. But what I can say is that if you have to find a way to be secure, because on the woman's front, let me give you a quick story. Hopefully they're not watching because it's personal. You're not going to out earn your man throughout the entirety of y'all relationship. Women need to kind of realize that, just because the longevity that men work, and we don't stop, we don't take breaks. So what go on and so forth. So it was close to that 40-60 thing that Trill was talking about. And ladies, stop talking to your friends, because your friends pillow talk to their husbands. This is how I know all this. I'm just letting y'all know. All right. So Shorty gets a big old raise.
And then you tell us.
She gets, and then I come on here and I tell y'all, okay? So she goes to get the big old raise from Facebook. Inflated. The inflated job title, inflated salary. I think he's making, like 65. He making 65. She making like 135. She start acting different. He's talking to me and I'm acting like I don't know. Like my wife didn't already tell me. So what, she tripping, dog? Now she making all these demands on where I gotta be. Whoop-de-whoop. They go like this for 2 years. What did Facebook just do to 20,000 of their workers? They fired them. She got fired. Now they're in the middle of divorce. Now she's trying to cancel that. That's why women got to be careful.
Nah, that's women a one-case scenario.
Huh? No, I'm just saying women have to be careful with this, because she changed her behavior as soon as she leveled up. If that was him that got 135, it would have just involved in more resources for the family, more activities for the kids. But the first thing she did was try to renegotiate gender roles. I think that says a lot.
So
After Marcus.
So I know a couple people whose wives have like elevated. One became a doctor, one became a lawyer and got like a decent position at the firm. Shit, I said it like 2 weeks ago or however long ago. Like my wife, when she got that VP role in the banking industry, she elevated, was making more money than me for the last 2 years. I think because Trill talks about this a lot of times when we say competence provides confidence, right? I think because the men that I know that was already like that guy, that didn't matter. It's like, all right, we get in the bag, we get more of the bag. It never came, like it didn't change none of the roles within the relationship. In fact, I think it might have made it better because she wanted to make sure that it didn't change nothing. Because she like, I love this man, I want to stay with him. I think that might come like when men feel that way. That might be more of something they battling prior to getting in a relationship, feeling like they wasn't enough, as opposed to being like confident in who they were. So typically, a woman that's going to attain those type of levels won't be with a man that isn't confident. You need uber confidence to even get them type. You know what I'm saying?
How many men are confident?
I'm gonna start making note of all your little jabs. You at 4, and you got a limit of 5 for one.
Yeah, we get over you. We let too many slide.
Tread carefully. You got 4 already. We are hour and 21 minutes in. All right.
I can't find it, but I believe I can't. I'm trying to find the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's like 70% of women who are making more than their husbands, like it ends in divorce. But of course, I'm trying to like break it down. I don't want to do it during the show.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There was a study that said that if she makes so much more because she contributes so much to that household, it's like overage. It's like
so that's what it has to be, because the funniest thing, we did this on my show where I said, how do people divorce into financial ruin, not financial prosperity? So why are they citing finances? So that has to be true, that finances really means that I'm uncomfortable with this financial arrangement, and then making more might be one of those things.
I think, can I add to that? Because I think when a woman, if she's making more, then her job is demanding more, right? So a lot of those responsibilities, it's no longer the man is the breadwinner, right? So therefore, you're expecting your woman to work around the house as if she doesn't have a job. And her job is demanding her more, and now she's the breadwinner. And I think that men are not ready for those type of like, wait, hold on.
And that's actually what I wanted to touch on really quick, because that's what I want to add to my first point was, in men and then women, obviously you can bring your own opinion into this, but I heard someone kind of explain that women can't handle the workload and all that it requires of them mentally and emotionally, and then come home and do all the household stuff the same way that men can. Like, men can handle this stuff so much easier. It's funny, like even talking to my husband, I'm like so concerned, like, just regular stuff, and he's like, no problem. Like, a man will like pick up another job if he has to, no problem. Is that right, Trigger Mike?
So the reason the last question I asked on the show is today, because this is something that you'll see in marriage, and I just, it's so disheartening to me that men get blamed for this when it goes wrong. I said, what do women have to sacrifice in order to achieve a positive work-life balance? And it's women struggling with that usually leads them to divorce, getting angry at their man because he can't, it's an impossible issue for him to help them with. Because the funniest thing is that the one thing we never ask as men is, well, what can I do to help you? And what you'll notice is it's never enough. It's never enough. Not because she is the one who's struggling maintaining. She's the one who's struggling juggling the job. She's overexerting herself in something that got nothing to do with you, right? And then coming home and blaming it on you. So that's the thing we never ask as men. Just be like, what can I do to help? There's not enough dishes you can wash, nor clothes you can fold that will actually make her content with the situation, because she's overcompensating on one other end.
So I love that you said that, Trigger Mike, because the one thing that we typically see, and Troll touched on it earlier, when men elevate in their income or their ability to provide, one of the first things they do is lessen that woman's load. They hire the housekeeper, they hire somebody to maintain the home. However, you're not finding that when women do the same. And I think it could be an interesting conversation of whether it's societal norms or not. But women won't typically hire that assistance. They'll try to be superwoman and manage it all, which winds up dropping all the balls. But why is it more socially acceptable for a man to lessen that load for you? But if you have that income, you're not willing to fit that bill.
I think it's a situation where she'll be judged if she lessens that load on her own, because that's what her quote unquote gender roles is. Let's say a woman going out there working her ass off, and she say, you know what, I'm gonna hire a nanny, and it's her idea. People gonna look at it like she ducking the responsibility of being a parent, or you putting your career over your child. Like what? Like men get to do that, because again, that's not our traditional gender role. But as a woman, if you hire that nanny and you hire that chef and you hire that cleaning lady, you lazy, and you working all the way outside of your purpose. They get unfairly judged for that. I mean, I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what the perception is gonna be.
So I hear what you're saying, Trill, and I think this is why I'm saying it would be an interesting conversation, because if that woman is a stay-at-home mother and that man hires a nanny or hires a housekeeper or hires a chef, she doesn't get that judgment. Why is it only when she's working and fitting the bill for that assistance is then there the judgment? Because she could be at home the whole time and still get assistance if that man elevates, and everybody's cool with it. But if she's working and struggling, if she's choosing that assistance, it becomes a problem. Why?
I'm wondering if it's because she's out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Coach K.
I was just gonna say because she's, and I'm just guessing that she's outside the home doing something that's not naturally her duty. And also too, another study that I want to break down and really look into, but women are not, even though they're elevating, they're not as happy as they once were too. So I wonder if that's a part of it. But anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead, Trill. Sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, because again, if let's say if the man hires her help and she's a stay-at-home mom, it's still perceived that she's doing those things, but he's just helping her out here, there. The nanny come in, she get a day off, she get a day off to cook, whatever. But if you out there chasing down your career, and just like y'all said, and y'all right, you elevate in your career, the demands become more. You in charge of people and things of that nature. So you're gonna be, even when you home, you still at work. So people automatically assume, okay, she masculine as hell, and she trying to get rid of all of her feminine duties to go be this masculine woman and chase this money down. That's what the perception is. But if your man doing it for you, then you still operating in your feminine role. Your man is taking care of you. You following his lead. He's saying that, hey, we need to get you a little help in here, but you still following his lead. But if you the breadwinner and you doing that, people gonna deem that as, oh, she just masculine as hell, and she trying to dictate the table, and again, that's outside of y'all's gender roles or y'all natural purpose, as people say all the time. So that's why the judgment.
Can I offer a quick example? And this is anecdotal, just someone I know, one person, but she's a stay-at-home mom. They have 4 kids, and her husband's a surgeon. Although she does have the degrees, they've been together since they were 19, so which is still very rare. They do have a cleaning lady sometimes, but she has her own like ministry. She's always like helping out at the school. So it's like it does allow for her, although she does clean and they have a huge house, she can at least, that does alleviate a little bit. So then she does help. She has so much going on. So she's still at least hands in, in the house, I guess.
I think that one of the things, to go back to your point, Trill, I think it really matters the same way the education level matters. It's not really if she does it, it's how she operates while doing it. So if she now takes on the identity of, I put this in play, or I'm a PhD, or you get what I'm saying? I don't think the actual action is the issue. It's how she perceives her role after the action, and then how she implements, how she moves within the relationship. Back to Trigger Mike, renegotiating those gender roles. Because it could be done. And I think, like, when we talk about other communities, especially in our community, we fantasize that other groups of women can out earn or can get these degrees or can contribute to a household and then come in and never try and renegotiate those gender roles. And I'm gonna put this on the man, because I think that those gender role negotiations is all on you, big dog. Whether you let that shit happen or not. Whether you okay with the progression of how those things move, because you can stop a lot of that stuff in the beginning if it even was going to become a problem. So you just recount it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You guys want? I have another question. So if you guys want to,
You gotta do super chats at some point, Shane.
I do. I'm gonna super chat it right now. How about that? Do you want to read for us, Trigger,
I
on
could
the
do that.
mic?
All right, my man Marcus Evans, $5. Appreciate that. Women praise the Pookies all the time. Big Ant, $10. What up, Trigger Mike and Reverend Trill and Chaotic? Chaotic, that mic is too big for you, bruh. Oh, you're doing it. I'm doing it on my. I can click it. Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? Marcus Evans, $5. I find it funny that every nation can build with each other for a bigger purpose, but us, a black people, can't. What a damn shame. Coach K, close your ears. We don't fight around white people. Chris Rock said that. All right, Machine,
No,
$2.
we're not
Coach
gonna
K,
do that. We're not gonna do that.
yeah, all right. Dominique Robertson, $50. Women aren't picky. They're just must be educated in the relationship department. Interesting. Marcus, $2. The art of listening is needed in school. Agreed. Kuro Hito, $50. If all right, somebody help me out. If
XX
XX
50K.
50K plus XY 50K equals 100K plus 20K other income, max
Women
out
in men.
401K, build something or don't retire. I know millionaires and Toyotas, Nigerian money. Yeah, that's what married people do. I don't know why everybody's missing the equation, but they
That's
are.
financial literacy 101.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you got married. If you get married, it's a force multiplier for that. Marcus Evans, $5. Is there such a thing as selective hearing disorder? Dominique Robertson, $50. Women aren't picking, they're just miseducated in relationships department. People don't want to admit to themselves they don't know what they're doing when it comes to relationships, and that creates a false sense of characters. This dude did another 50 ball just to finish his sentence. All right. Marcus Evans, $50. I'm sorry, $2. You had me worried, Trill. Robert Platinum, $5. Shout out to Trigger Mike. He always makes sense when he speaks and is very wise. Why, thank you. All right, that's all the super chats we got for now. Get those likes up right now, man. We got 322 and 100 and something likes. This is disrespectful. Y'all getting all this free game on this all-star panel for free. Get them up to 150 right now, or we canceling the show. Right now. All right.
Because we're gonna be stopping at 12 anyway. Listen, so I got a question. I have a question. So one of the things that stood out that he talked about was technology and the role that technology is playing. All of this. People aren't meeting people organically anymore. So do you think that because people aren't, like they said, they're not able to, the humor in you're not able to show that. It's kind of like you gotta look good or you gotta have a nice job in the discussion to be chosen, or you just gotta be somebody's type. Do you think that? Because I can't remember if he said it. Because I think Jr. I wanted another part of the video, but I don't think it was added. But he was saying how that is gonna change. Did he say that how it's gonna change how men move later on, because then it may lead to destruction? Did he say that? Or that part wasn't said. So basically what he was saying was that when men are not mating, those men tend to be the ones who, may shoot up a place, or they're not,
Oh, yeah. Jordan Peterson, right? The
do
incel argument.
things
Gotcha.
that are a little destructive.
Yeah, he said that.
And so that's where the problem comes in, because these men don't have anything else to look for. They don't have families, they don't have, and they kind of are mad at the world. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think the middle ground is? Because women are gonna like what they like. Is it one of those things where you feel like women should be like,
so remember I said dichotomy of purpose. That is represented in that. Women have become very picky. And rightfully so, women have always been picky. Y'all are the ones with the wombs. But you can't also be picky. Damn, this is gonna be such. Women today are picky assholes. It's weird. I'm sorry. Y'all have the least to offer a man, but yet being picky. You don't have a fresh womb to offer him. Most women don't. But yet they're the most picky.
I'm sorry, Trigger. You're a married man speaking about women this way.
I didn't know how else to say it. Harlot, you want me to say picky harlot?
I see what he's saying. What he's saying is you're not that value of, you know, the body count and all that kind of stuff, if your value has been decreased because of the norm, like the culture of how people, women are moving right now. So why should you be picky? But I think that what
I'm
he
talking
doesn't
about
understand,
the whole part. Like,
I know he
All
needs
right,
to use
we
better.
will
This is she
substitute
critique.
hoe
This is not
for harlot. All right, listen,
but I think that what people are understanding is the psyche of a woman. You know, men are logical. They're like, okay, if it makes sense, they'll be like, it'll come later. Women do not think that way. They just don't. It's got to be something that she is aiming for, whether you grasp her heart or her mind. You have to have something. They can't just be like, oh, I mean, some do, and that's when you get that woman who's like, oh, she just wanted to get married, and then she ends up divorcing them guy because all she wanted was the wedding. You don't want that. But I think that men don't understand because we're so different that there has to be a connection for the woman. And how she gets that connection, you know, whatever that quality was that gave her that connection has to be there for the most part for most women. And it's just not as easy as, oh, let me just grab this guy, get to know him, and maybe
yeah.
those feelings will.
Not only do I agree with that, I do believe it's partly the woman's fault. She's not establishing a connection. A big issue we have with women today is them being overloaded, and they want superficial things out of a man, not substantive qualities out of a man. That is basically it. This is why divorces are up. This is why women, like, if you said, bring me a good man that will take care of this kid, love me, go to work every day, and with the sense to provide for this family every single day of his life, I can get every single woman, well, that for with an available man married tomorrow. We'd be short about almost 1 million, but I can get all the women married. It is because they want this. They'll say they want the 666. His breath stink. I don't like the way his hair cut. He isn't in a frat. They started adding all of these requirements to what they want. And now it's hard for them to make a connection with a man because they have a superficial block. It's like an inhibitor chip back there that says, well, I like him, but my friends are gonna joke me because it's not like my sister's husband. Like, that is what I think is a part of the huge problem here. What do y'all think?
can we not add in hygiene? I mean, I think that should be a basic requirement. You talking about their breath stink, they're not brushing their
You
teeth.
know what? Maybe I went too far with the breath stink, but you
You
know where I
did.
was going.
A little bit.
I was wondering where that was going.
It's like hygiene, basic hygiene.
Like,
Should
damn,
You
be
know what?
want you to
No,
take anybody.
I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back. Here's why.
basic hygiene.
If you don't like the way he dressed, take his credit card, go buy him something. If his breath stink, buy a toothbrush.
No, no.
So yeah, nice try.
Listen. All right, y'all can do a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all can do a lot for me.
All right, so to go back to your initial question, I think that it can absolutely become extremely dangerous in the future, where let's just say only 60% of the men never get a woman and remain virgins. That's not a society most people want to live in. I'm gonna keep it real. When men have no incentive to do the right thing, no incentive to stay out of jail, no incentive to go to work, and no aspirations or potential to start a family, things can get real dangerous. Because at that, I've heard people say before, if I didn't have women, I wouldn't get dressed, I wouldn't do X, Y, Z. So what's to stop them from getting mad at any moment and flipping the switch? Like when people make the polygamy argument, for the bulk of men, it's impossible because they don't fit that criteria. And if we did move forward with it, it would be a dangerous society for these men, like extremely dangerous for everybody else and your family. Even though you might be able to sustain and keep anybody in your immediate vicinity safe, if they leave and wander off from outside of you at any time, it's gonna get ugly. So yeah, I think that's a real thing, and the FBI I think started tracking it recently. The ACL, like, I don't know if a lot of men are familiar with this, but I've seen that the ACL was making reference to the whole space and saying that they was monitoring some of this stuff. I don't know. Has anybody heard anything about this?
I have.
You have, Cal?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's actually dangerous. I think, like, as the standards raise, I know this might be a crazy perspective, but just for the safety, they probably need to legalize prostitution or something, because these men have to have an outlet. They have to have an outlet.
That is really sad, and they are very dangerous. But I wanted to pass it to Chelsea, see if she wanted to come on in here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was just thinking when it comes to the whole topic, are women too picky? I think us who are single, we may have the tendency to be too picky because at the end of the day, MCM, men control marriage. So if we do want to be a wife, then we're going to have to settle for whatever that man is bringing. So at the end of the day, I think that we are too picky in some senses of things. And then the funny part about it is that the older we get, sometimes the more picky we get as well. Even though the options are slimmer and slimmer as we go along, that's the scary part. But when you're young,
I think when you're older, you start seeing through the bullshit. You can see it a little bit faster than you saw when you were younger. Because you like, I smell some bullshit.
And the thing about it, we were picky with the wrong one. We were picky with the wrong ones. We should have been picky with the ones we messed up over us and all of that over those years.
Oh, for sure.
See, we let them slide by, slide in and slide out.
That's experience, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
so the thing is, don't let that experience linger too long, and then eventually we get to this point where we're at a certain age and the options are so slim, and then we want this high value man, whatever that may be.
I think a lot of young girls weren't taught to vet out what type of man to look for, because dads don't want to have those awkward conversations about boys, dating, sex. Look, all y'all do is say, don't mess with them little knucklehead boys, and y'all you don't need a boyfriend, just focus on school. Like, I'm not talking about you, Trigger Mike. I'm just saying a lot of dads, I felt a lot of girls, even my dad has been guilty of that. They don't not really teach us the game, and like, so we can recognize what game really is. They just say, oh, these boys gonna lie to you, and it's just like, but the lie sounds like the truth sometimes.
Right. So we don't know better. You're right.
We don't know better. We don't know what we don't know.
So I will admit that that's a part of the problem, but the modern age problem is not that dads won't give the game. One, and of course in this community it's the lack of dads to begin with, but it's also because women won't submit themselves to that game at all. Women will not submit to the fact that their father has to choose their mate. They won't. What percentage of women
I would
you
have
know?
loved if my dad. Well,
what woman you know will be like, I want my father to choose my husband? How many women you know will say that?
At 18 in this day and age, B10? If you was to,
if my dad genuinely, like, when I dated a guy and I brought him to my dad was like, nope, he better be treating you like a princess, because he is not up to your standard. So that just let me know my dad's will want to choose somebody that he felt like qualified for me. So my dad personally, yes.
My dad said no
want to get
take
on
backs.
that field and play. Go ahead, Coach K.
No, I was just gonna say my dad said no take backs. So that's where we're at.
You belong to your husband now.
I like that though. I like that.
Sure.
Think of how a girl is thinking when you say this one shot. You got one shot. What you gonna do? That's very sobering. That's very sobering.
Can you drop a poll in the chat? I'm curious as to how many women at 18 would let their father pick their spouse for them.
No, you about to ask women? They're gonna lie. Come on.
They're gonna tell a bold-faced lie, bro.
So
no, my dad. First of all, wait, hold on. My dad is actually a very nice-looking man. When he used to come to my field trips, all the teachers wanted to be around my dad. My dad's 6'4". He's always been very healthy, athletic. So I know he would have chose somebody that was like, I already know my dad would have had me.
Thing is this though, man. Like, it's a lot of women, right? And we got to put this on the table. It's a lot of women who dad gives them the game. A lot of women who brothers give them the game. Cousins give them the game, and they still go out there and go the complete opposite way of what the man advised her to do. So that's why I don't believe if the dad said, okay, he's solid. She might be like, okay, Pops, I respect you, but he don't give me that feeling that John do over there or whatever do over there. You see what I'm saying? So when she leave him, she gonna go right back and mess with John some more. Or is the kicker, she ain't gonna even bring John around her pops. Her pops ain't gonna never know that she messing with him.
That's it.
I was in college. I know how it worked. It's literally with Nigerian women up there that told me straight up. She said, my daddy would never approve of you, ever. And that's why I can never take you. You are a great guy. You're a stand-up guy, intelligent, handsome, all of that. But I could never bring you home. My daddy would never approve you. But she was still trying to mess with me anyway. So that's what I'm saying. It's just...
But I'm gonna have to push back on that, because I did grow up in a very sheltered home, and sometimes your parents are so sheltered and sheltering you. It don't matter what that man looks like. You know your parents are not gonna approve of this man. They're like, oh, he got an earring. Oh, he got a tattoo. He got this. They don't even want to see past that. They don't even want to get to know the man just based off of his appearance. So those girls, especially those Nigerian homes, their parents are super strict. And if he's not Nigerian, don't even think about it. So it's a lot of them are very, very strict. They're not going to even they know like you're not gonna qualify. It don't matter who you are, they're gonna go off of appearance, background, religion, all of that stuff.
Well,
All right,
maybe
so
the
they
dad knew
say,
something, and maybe you should leave him alone. Like
I was
that's
gonna
exactly
say,
what Trill just said. Pop gave you the game. Like, well,
No,
he
no,
ain't
no,
gonna
that's
prove this
not. You're
guy.
not
Let the guy
listening.
go.
You're not
Let
listening.
like
I just said some parents are too sheltering, where they don't even get to know the man enough to
yeah.
know. Like, you can give me all the game, but if you're saying no to every man, then who do I date? So we're not even gonna bring
nobody.
it around.
Find somebody else.
So, E. Taylor, what percentage of dads do you think get that wrong? Like where he could have been a good guy, but you didn't give him a chance? Because I don't think it's very many. If they can sniff it from the door, that's all of their experience. You know what I like when people do is when they combine people's years of experience to tell you how much experience people have. So if you got two 35-year-old parents and you 15 and they're like, and you have 70 years worth of experience telling you, no, that they're probably not wrong very often. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, and again, especially with men, because fact is that regardless of how great of a judge of character women think they are, y'all have implicit bias with the men that y'all dating. Y'all actually like him, right? Like he actually wooed y'all. Like his charisma, all of these things make you feel a way when he's coming around. So much so that a lot of women are willing to look past the fact that he ain't really got a car right now, or look past the fact that he only make, he only working part-time at the mall, but he say he trying to get in school, he trying to do this, he trying to do that. Like y'all get the leaning toward what you feel like his potential should be. But when you bring him around that man gonna be able to look at him and in 2 minutes of conversation from the handshake say, this is not a grown man right here. He not ready. But again, you don't want to hear that because you like him and he makes you feel away, and the way he, kiss you on your neck, and the way that the sex is, and just the swagger and the charisma he got, Pops, you don't understand. So again, she may take the advice when she around you. You know what, Pops, you right, man. He is a great guy, and she'll go right back to that college campus and go mess with the dude who she know you would not approve of. But going back to Trigger Mike's point, a man is hardly ever wrong about a man. And that's why I tell women, make sure you run that man by somebody who love you. Whether it's your pops, your brother, your friend, your cousin, whatever. Make sure you run him by a man. Because a man knows a man when we see one. And we also know a nigga that's just pretending. Pardon my French.
The problem is because most of us women are digmatized sometimes, and we don't see past.
Sometimes
It's just because it looks good doesn't mean it's good for us at the end of the day. And we be asking questions: what's your favorite color? All these basic questions instead of asking like, what's going to be the foundation of our relationship, of our marriage, anything like that. That's the problem. I don't understand what it is. As soon as we see something that looks good, if we're not used to it, then that's when we have all these problems. And go ahead,
Chelsea. I don't know why nobody's telling you this. Can you turn your mic up just a little bit? Yeah.
I thought it was all the way up.
I don't know why nobody didn't say nothing. I could barely hear you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know.
Oh yeah,
no, I heard you just fine.
I'm all the way up. Yeah, I'm all the way up on my end.
Well, I didn't hear the AP.
Yeah,
I said us women are digmatized. I hope you heard.
I just turned you up.
Okay.
I just turned you up back here. Yeah. You good.
Thank you.
But yeah, even like the traits that you may feel like your pops is just doing a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Why his pants down? Why he got 2 earrings in when he coming over here? All those things matter, right? Because it says a lot about that man that I'm gonna come to your pops, who I know is influential in your life, who I know is real hands-on, and who I know that you love very much. Like I'm supposed to be buttoned up the same way that I would go into a job interview. If we're gonna be real. Yep. Maybe not the suit and the tie, but again, it's gonna be respectful dress. I ain't going in the damn job interview with my chain and my grill in and my earrings and my pants sagging and shit like that. No, that don't make sense. This is a person of authority. This is a person that's gonna be very influential in my future. So I'm gonna approach him that way. But if that man decides not to do that, that speaks volumes that he would make that decision. So that's more so what your pop's pointing out. You think he tripping on the earrings? No. He tripping on the mindset and the audacity that this young nigga got to come to my house
it's
to try to woo my daughter dressed like that.
Exactly. Let me tell you something. I was the favorite. I mean, I was beloved by every single girlfriend I ever had. I was the beloved boyfriend, to the point where mamas was calling me, telling me congratulations on your engagement. But if it happens to fall through, my daughter's still single. 2 of them did that, right? Like my dad prepped me like I was going on a job interview, just like he said. You are going to meet our father. Hey, you take presents. You talk to him. You look him in the eye. You shake his hand. Like you speak. You don't go off from conversation with him. You give him permission to peruse around his house. Dog, this dude was literally like, is this dude? He had to come tell me later. I thought you was almost doing too much. I thought you were too good to be true. That is how men listen. If a man loves a woman, think about what he knows he has to do, because not only to win your approval, but to win the family's approval. That's the world over. Men instinctually know you got to do that for a woman, just like animals know you got to fight another man for that woman, right? So if a man's not doing that, like dad already know, he didn't look me in the eye. First of all, these dudes got their hand in their pocket, they in their phone. Oh, what's up, G? Oh no, get him the hell out of my house. He's not a serious man. You damn sure not serious enough for my daughter at whatever stage she's at in life, because I raised her better than that. So y'all not a good match. Yeah, father's not wrong. I'm not even saying they're not wrong about that. They not wrong.
Something that I think that they noticed too that we don't at the time is they can see like the long-term progression when we're just focused on the small picture. Because, and honestly, whenever, even my sisters, but when my dad didn't like someone, God, I'm cringing just thinking about some of the people I dated, but he was freaking right. And something he also told me since I, was, I guess, maybe freshman high school was, guys will do anything to get in your pants. And he was freaking right with that too. But yeah, I think dads can see long-term when we're, just infatuated and love him so much because we're not thinking long-term. And I think a lot of girls mess that up.
So I love what you said, Coach K. And I wanted to add another layer to that. Not only to what Trill said, do men know men? But think about the vantage point your father has of you, of who you are on an everyday basis, right? As women, just like men, we put our best foot forward in the early parts of a relationship. But your father knows what you were really like behind closed doors. Once you give up the facade, once you give up the representative, who you're going to be. So his vantage point in vetting out that man is significantly different than yours because one, he knows men, and two, his understanding of you is way more thorough than that man has of you.
Just to say this for dads, he's already pissed when he meet him because he knows if you making excuses for a man that both of y'all know is subpar, then he's just giving you the D already. He has to like already take that defeat. Like, damn, this dude that flipped my daughter. This dude out here flipping my daughter over in the bed and got her head messed up. He already know. He already know. He don't want to shake that dude's hand. Where your hands been? Ugh. I diapered those drawers. Yeah. Ugh.
Y'all I can't do this with y'all today. Did anybody else want to add on to, because I know this conversation started out with technology and then it ended up being talking about dads. Did anybody else want to?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Are you done in the chat now?
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. So speaking of technology, ladies, I'm not trying to troll, but AI is, technology is exponentially advancing. You guys are gonna wake up one day and it's gonna be AI robots walking around. It's gonna be Asian androids that dudes can in the mouth. I mean, it's just it's coming down the pipeline. I'm not trolling. And so, porn, and they already got something right now where you can what is it, Oculus or something, and it's like a VR. You can put that on, and you can buy certain things and stimulate your. I don't want to get too graphic, Shan, but technology might. Hey, man, it might be a lot of people not breathing any damn way because people could just be in the confines of their own home. I hate to be vulgar and up front, but this is real. This is coming. In 5-10 years, it'll be you'll see dudes at the bar with an AI girlfriend robot.
Hey, do you know what's scary about what you just said? And this is another hypothesis of mine. All right. it seems to be really easy to substitute a man's emotional and sexual need for a woman with technology. It seems extremely easy to do so, but you cannot supplement a woman's emotional need for a man. In fact, it's even represented in lesbianism. It's called lesbian bed death. A woman that was once with the man or once like men, then turns over to women, just feels like something's missing. She can't really get it. It's because they have an emotional need for bonding with a man, and that's not easily replaced by technology. That's why they don't make much stuff for it. It's tested that women don't really get stimulated from the male versions of robots and all that type of stuff. So that's going to be really interesting.
So I'm so glad I let you go first, Chaotic, because those robots already exist, are already on the market.
In Japan,
People are already buying them.
In Japan, that's right. Yeah, that's
right. So I was going to go the other route with technology. Incels existing to the population that they do exist in is a nod to technology itself, because in prior eras, war, disease, and all sorts of other things would take these men out. They would literally, it was natural selection. It was population control in and of itself. The fact that we have this surplus of quote unquote undesirable or underqualified men, however you want to label them, is due to technology in and of itself, right? There are just that many more people in the world, which means there are that many less jobs. And with technology advancing, that number is increasing as well, right? And yes, in North America, that's taking the majority of women's jobs, but in other parts of the world, it's equally men's jobs, right? So as this kind of continues, I think it will be really interesting to see how society kind of resets, because I don't think the sex robots are going to be enough, because we can talk about how an AI robot is going to substitute a woman, but the reality is you're not getting the feminine energy from an AI robot. You're not getting the human interaction, the human connection. It's a great substitute. It's a great placebo. It might subdue people for a certain amount of time, but what it doesn't do is get rid of the red pill rage. It doesn't get rid of the entitlement that people have towards other people. It doesn't get rid of having children and building legacy. It doesn't get rid of a social status. It doesn't get rid of a whole lot of other things, right? And that's where I think it will become a clash. It'll be the thing that creates a whole different class of whether you're able to attain a woman or whether you have to self-suffice with an AI.
Well, it'll get rid of the awkward conversation when I tell her ass to leave. It'll get rid of the talking back. It'll get rid of the ridiculous arguments. And in regards to having a family, I mean, they're already working on an artificial womb. Like, shit, might not need you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, might not need you.
Yeah. Inez, I respect your opinion and perspective, but I feel like you're not a man. Men after a certain age, we kind of don't get off of a woman's energy. I mean, at least, that doesn't. Yes, I was madly in love when I was in high school and in college, but now marriage is just practical. It's like going to work every day. It's, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to be. I'm gonna be brutally honest. A lot of times I gotta agree with AP. After that post nut clarity, hey man, that's that. You can go on about your business now. And a lot of women don't know that. And it's the truth that AP. He's right. Nah, Inez. So and then a lot of men don't even want to have children anymore. And that, so they're not really worried about, let me really have sex with a woman so I can have children. It doesn't work like that.
So I find that, sorry, Marcus, give me 1 second. I find that incredibly disingenuous. And this is why.
Okay.
There is a plethora of sex workers that exist where you don't have to have that conversation. You don't have to fit the bill for dinner. You don't have to, tell her when it's time to leave. You don't have to have her stick around. And yet, men are still opting to choose women who are not sex workers, engage in these dynamics where you're pulling more than just sex out of that woman. You're pulling emotion, you're pulling connection. Not to mention, even if you want to stick to just the sexual interactions, there's a reason strip clubs sell. There is a reason strippers are able to do what they do, because not only are they selling you the sexual fantasies, but they're also bringing that feminine energy. I think it's so disingenuous that when you get comfortable in a relationship and you start taking for granted what it is that woman brings into the relationship, to now say that that no longer has value because it's not shiny and new anymore. It doesn't mean that it isn't still showing up. It doesn't mean that it still doesn't have purpose. It doesn't mean that it still isn't functional. You're just accustomed to it. And that sounds more like a you problem than it actually serving a purpose.
See, I'm not gonna discount what you're saying, but if I can order me a squirt Virgin 2000, I'm gonna be good. Like, like, I'm just saying, like, I don't have to work for it. All I got to do is pop, pop, bam, there it is. All right, then I can put it back in the closet and get out when I'm ready to go again.
Hey,
Yeah, like,
we need to shout out to Anthony Brian Logan in the house.
Oh, ABL is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So what I was gonna say is, so all the stuff you listed, Enos, it's the thing that men, when they say, what do you bring to the table, if they never experienced it before, it don't seem like it's real. One of the things that I noticed in the space in general is, which is kind of what the passport bros is saying, because it's like we getting sex, that other aspect of femininity we're not experiencing here, so we're going to go someplace where we can qualify to get that. I would assume most of the men on the panel have gotten that type of energy in their life, or have it in their life. So when men say those type of things, you be like, bro, I mean, it's more to women than just sex. But if you have not experienced that other part, then you be like, I don't know, they just bags. You know what I'm saying? They just fun to be up inside for a little while. They foo-foos, like a prison.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Marcus, right? Like, no AI will ever be able to substitute for that. And I think that the same way that women inherently crave the non-tangible things about a man, men also crave those things about a woman. But I think the differences between men and women is that men have to have an understanding of that experience to have that craving for it. I don't know that men, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know that most men naturally understand what that experience of a woman is.
I'll tell you what it is too. I think that, the machinery that we're speaking of, I think will increase the demand for women more than men think. I think right now, especially in this country, because it's so new, that it's seeming like a phenomenon and things of that nature. It's like, oh, this is a great substitute, this, that, and the third. But fact is, let that cycle run its course. And eventually, a lot of men will start feeling the same way about that machinery as they claim to feel about women, right? Then women going to come back in the fold. So again, it's a situation where you got to kind of let the newness of it wear off, and then we can have a more accurate picture. But reality is, man, it's just certain intangible value that a woman brings, man. It's that warmth, it's that conversation, it's that banter, it's that dialogue, that eye contact, that, hand caressing your beard and this, that, and the third. Like, fact is, men want to be desired just as much as women do. Don't get me wrong. We do want the sex, sure. But the banter and things of that nature, it's a lot of value in that to men. But just like y'all saying, you got to kind of experience it to, have it or whatever. But a lot of these dudes who resort into that now eventually are going to be in a space to where they experience it. And the second they do, all that machinery is going to be, I don't want to say non-existent. It's going to be not as important as they claim that it is now. Because again, it's just certain things that it can't provide you. It's just like the roles, right? Like women complain about not having orgasms all the time, or most of the time with men, things of that nature. And the fact is, a lot of them go out there and they get those roses and they do their thing with them. Don't get me wrong, but most women with that will tell you there is no substitute for a man that I actually care about and I actually love, and a man that's protecting me and giving me that, that security and that squeeze in the bed. It's that, what Smooth say, that hulking black male figure or whatever in their life, what Smooth would say. But that rose can't give you that. It can stimulate you to an extent, sure. But after that's over with, most women still want to be held. Most women still want to, you know what I'm saying, just be able to come home from a hard day and just fall in their man arms. That machinery can't do that for you. Just like that machinery can't give you that intangible warmth that a woman brings in your life either. So that's just what it is. But
no
Sorry,
different.
I'm going after chaotic.
Ooh, asserting yourself. I like that, Coach K.
Well, because I was supposed to go after Marcus.
No, I like
Trill
please.
he is.
By all means.
I was like, go, you go. No, go, chaotic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Trill, I see where you're coming from, good sir, but hold on, let me mute this other. Let me mute real quick. Not you guys, but yeah, Trill, I see where you're coming from, good brother. But are you guys familiar with Chat GPT?
Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first got hip to it about 2 weeks ago, I was asking questions, and it gave me answers back instantaneously, and I was having conversations with it to the point where I felt like it was an old friend. It's very possible that people will fall in love with technology. It's very possible, guys. Chat GPT, I can't wait till it becomes sentient. It doesn't argue with me. It answers all my questions. It's almost like it's in my brain. So I don't know, man. Maybe you're right.
You have to train it though, like you have to train a woman, kind of.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Coach K. You said you were going.
Well, I'm about to kind of change. Well, it's on the topic, but it is so if you want to go, trigger mark.
On this, yeah, I was just gonna say. So, Enod, you're actually right when you say that it won't. It's not supposed to replace social status and all of that. But then they're literally creating a new world inside the metaverse where you can actually replace social status. Once you put that headset on, right, and they're doing these tests to find out that these things do make men release dopamine. They do think they're in that they're in a basketball game, and they do think that they're the most popular guy in school. Maybe we just dumb. Maybe dudes is just easy to fool that way. But when I say they are literally going to replace women with men, it's almost like I would have said the same thing because I thought we had more of an emotional need for women. But when the chemicals are being released from our brain from these machines, it's very hard to believe that, on the male end, because it's failing on the female end more.
Y'all are saying like this is a good thing. Like this is why people think AIs will take over the world and humans will go extinct, because you guys are saying this like this is normal. You're saying a machine that was man-made gets you off.
Yes,
or
B.
you'll
Taylor.
have sex with it, or you will have conversations with it, and it stimulates you and give you this dopamine.
Well,
like, that's
you
not
have to understand. You got to understand the problem, though. B. Taylor, you got to understand the problem. It's a twofold problem. I don't want to like it. Well, I'm already gone, but like the boys aren't going to want to like it until the women start talking shit and start talking back and start arguing with them. Then they're going to go retreat.
But do you really want something that's always saying yes and a yes and a yes and doesn't make you better? No, that's not about. That's
B. Taylor.
Don't act like that.
B. Taylor,
y'all don't want somebody that's combative, argumentative, but you want somebody that is going to challenge you and push back.
We joke about this a lot. We joke about this a lot. We joke about this a lot, but the classic movie Coming to America. Men be in the barbershop talking about, boy, you see what that girl was doing in the beginning of that movie? Talking about, you'll do anything I say you would do. Bark like a dog. Woo, woo. If a man could recreate that in his life, he would, I promise you.
No, they don't. They don't.
Taylor, can I say something real quick? I know you were a newscaster at one point. Have you ever...
Wait, hold on right quick.
Whatever you like.
Okay. So I'm assuming B. Taylor is still listening, but I know she was a newscaster at one point. B. Taylor, have you ever listened to you speak? No offense. I would not want to wake up at 2:30 in the morning and listen to you nag me to half the damn death. Man, listen. No, Coach K, hold on a second, Coach K.
You cut me again, but it's okay.
Give me a second. I was barely talking the entire time I was over here. Let's be honest.
Because you were in the chat. Oh, she's back. Go ahead.
Okay.
Chaotic.
Okay. All I'm saying is that
She about to get you.
B. Taylor. Hold on for a second. B. Taylor. No offense, you have a very nagging voice, and that's nothing personal. Most women do. The beauty of Chat GPT and AI is that it is created for the comfort of people. It's pleasant. No man in his right mind wants to be nagged half the damn death like most women do. So I think what is happening, B. Taylor, is that women, you, are becoming jealous of the fact that AI will be sentient one day and that we will fall in love with that over you. Go ahead, guys. You got the floor.
Okay.
Nothing personal, by the way. Nothing personal.
I didn't hear what you said, but if you want to choose a robot, to make love to and be in a relationship to, then maybe that's you. I don't have no problem with that.
So I just want to say this. I think that the robots, I think, will serve a purpose, right? We were just talking about the incel community, how they could potentially be really dangerous. I think if you ship them a whole ton of robots, I think national security across the Western world will probably be in a better place. But to Chaotic's point, I just want to go ahead and so Trill and Marcus, how often do y'all get nagged?
I'll never get nagged.
All right. So it's just certain people that are constantly having to deal with the nagging. It's not everybody. I just wanted to make that point. So if it's a personal issue, maybe you should kind of address it with the person that it persists.
Ma'am. Listen, I'm talking about now. B. Taylor is nagging the panel now. You are nagging the panel now. I love you.
I'm sorry, but I was invited to this panel as much as you were invited.
I'm not trying to make it personal.
I'm invited to a lot of panels, so people actually like to hear me talk. Maybe this is your first time, and that's fine.
No.
I'm not your woman, so you don't have to worry about me nagging you.
No,
we don't ever have to cross paths. In reality, we probably wouldn't even have a real conversation. So
no. Trust me, we wouldn't.
That's great.
That's fine.
But
that's
I would
fine.
never. You go ahead and have fun with your robots and your Legos and whatever.
All I'm saying is that you don't have to be in a relationship
on your downtime. Okay?
You don't have to be in a relationship. Can I talk?
Okay,
you don't have to be in a
insult. So you take your toys
all
and
I'm
everything
saying,
else and have fun with that. Your
all
little dolls on your lonely nights on a Friday night. So go do whatever you want to do.
Can I talk, please?
Chaotic, I'm gonna tell you real quick. Chaotic, I'm gonna tell you real quick. Good luck on a Chic critique on Friday nights. You get your ass ate up, bro.
Like, can I talk, please?
Why?
This is a.
You don't have to be in a relationship.
Actually,
you don't have to be in a relationship to nag someone.
Well, I don't know you to nag you, so it's
you're nagging now. You've been nagging the whole time.
That's crazy. That
you've been nagging the entire day.
That's because you're so used to talking to a pretend person online.
I'm married.
Know you all the time. So maybe that's why you feel like that. You're actually talking to a real woman for a chance. You're actually talking to a real woman, Chaotic. And I'm sorry for being a real woman.
I'm married.
You're married to your robot? Oh my God! Congratulations!
I don't have a ma'am.
He's married to his AI.
This is why AI is going to take over because of nagging women.
They're going to take over your home first.
No, they're not.
Example.
No, they're not.
You can't even have conversations.
All right, can I say something real quick though? Well, not even quick because I've been waiting. But I will be quick. So it's interesting that like technology is going to fulfill some type. We're going to get that dopamine release, whatever. But it's still not going to be the same. It's artificial, obviously, but just like the microwave generation is what they call it. Those give us a little bit of dopamine, but it's not the same as actual natural pleasure that we get from achievements, from interaction with our family, even having a family. So I still think it's not going well. I think humans will evolve and maybe catch up where it won't where the technology will be enough. But I don't think it's going to be enough. And I will say too, I think it's really concerning that men have this issue. And I think it would be to all of our benefit in society to not shit on men all the time, or women, but mostly men, because of how important they are. And I'm just saying, because obviously they're not doing too hot and they get that constantly in the media. They're at the lowest part of the totem pole. Now, that doesn't mean I'm condoning men not doing anything and being lazy, but they do deserve some encouragement because they are important. So that's all I want to say.
I
also,
definitely.
Oh no, go ahead on this.
Thanks, Trill. So I definitely agree with the latter part of what you said, Coach K. But when it comes to chemical releases from the brain, that is inaccurate. Like,
Which part?
That it doesn't release the same dopamine. The AIs won't release the same dopamine hits as having a family, having normal interactions. The brain can't actually tell the difference. So the dopamine releases are exactly the same. It does, and we see that through the studies of social media and the way that's changed.
They are, but they're concentrated. They don't last as long, so you need more.
But
so it's high, low, high, low.
So there's two strains of dopamine, right? Mm-hmm. And that one is the same. That's the one that most people reach for. It's also the same thing that creates people who have an addiction to narcotics, right? It's still a dopamine release, right?
For
regardless
sure.
of whether you're chasing it continuously or if it's the process that is releasing the healthier version of dopamine, it's still a dopamine release, right? And when you have a robot, unfortunately, it doesn't have the same constraints as a human being. There's no menstrual cycle, there's no being tired, there's no any of that stuff, right? So you can get that continuous release where it is more challenging than dealing with a person. Now, I do want to say that the fulfillment that doesn't come from dopamine hits, that human need to connect to another person, something that's real and that's authentic, that doesn't come out of AI, right? That feeling a part of a community, feeling a part of a group, feeling a part of something that's bigger than you, you're not going to get that in these silos where you're isolating and insulating yourself with AI, right? But that's not related to dopamine.
So the community aspect is definitely a byproduct, and I'm just laughing at the chat because they're saying the ladies sound threatened by the robots, which is kind of funny. But I'm saying that the dopamine is not going to be the dopamine that you get from getting your degree, for example, or making the team because there was an achievement there. Dopamine, or let's say eating food or playing video games. Dopamine, yes, brain can't tell the difference. However, when you get it, it takes longer to achieve those things, those natural things that you have to work for. But when you're constantly giving your brain that dopamine hit, that dopamine hit, that dopamine hit, it's going to raise your tolerance. So you're going to need it all the time. And then you only have so much that what's the need or drive that you have to go get a degree, to go achieve anything when you're getting all this fill from artificial shit. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying like we're all, surrounded by technology, but if you only have so much, which I'm pretty sure you do only have so much, you're spending it all on this artificial stuff, and you're gonna look around you and you're living in a pigsty, you have no friends, nothing, that you've worked for. So, but you just waste all your dopamine. So you're not going to want to do anything else. You're not going to have any drive. That's kind of what I'm saying. And if you disagree, just let me know. But
can I speak now?
Well, Troll was waiting.
All of you are capping. All of you.
All of you ain't said nothing yet. So
you got computers, you got cell phones. You mother effers, respectfully, you ain't communicating with no damn pigeons with a note. Stop it. You love technology. So AI is the next step. It's the next evolution to the human being. Stop it. You love your cars. Stop it. You love your AC in your offices and your cozy offices. Who y'all talking to? If you guys are so anti AI and what AI is going to be about, go live in Africa somewhere in a rural village somewhere where ain't no technology. Y'all ain't listen. I call bullshit out. That's why I'm the chaotic truth. Embrace AI. Embrace the artificial. That's what we have to do. If you don't, go live with the Maasai tribe with a plate and they walk around with plates in their lips. You're hypocrites. When's the last time one of y'all walked over 2 or 3 miles anywhere? I'll wait. Because you rely on cars. You haven't gotten tired of cars, have you? When's the last time you walked across the country? Huh? You ain't get tired of planes, have you? So stop it. You can look crazy all you want, B. Taylor, but I'm right. Go ahead.
If I nag you so much, why do you get me started, chaotic? You just want me to talk to you. Just say it. You just want me to talk to you tonight. It's fine.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, guys. You got the floor.
Nah, I'm gonna pass mine to Chelsea, man. I want what did Chelsea take on
I'm
this
tired
whole
of hearing
AI
about
situation.
robots. That's all I gotta say. I'm tired of hearing about robots and how they gonna replace us. If they are, congrats to the robots. Like, let them do what they gotta do. I'm not gonna compete against robots already. I'm competing against women already. So I'm gonna stay in my lane over here and let y'all talk about robots. I have no interest in this.
Yeah, my only thing is this, right? Is with the dopamine hit. I think it's gonna have the effect that like heroin did on society. Because fact is that like chaotic will have a point if the whole world was getting ready to turn into that. The fact is that you still got to go outside. You still got to interact with people. So if you are delving that deep into this AI and this technology and things of that nature, it's just gonna make your ass that much more awkward when you go outside. You're gonna be have even less people skills than you do now. And a lot of people don't have them at all. So it's gonna be non-existent, and you're gonna literally be a walking awkward ass person. So you being in that house getting that dopamine hit, you're gonna crash on your face when you walk out of it, the more that you delve into it. So it is a give and a take. Unless you just plan to lock yourself in your house forever, and this is just what I'm gonna do every day. I'm interacting with this every day for the rest of my life, then you got a point. The fact is that you have to leave that domain eventually. You got to go outside in the world and navigate. You got to drive around. You got to interact with people. You got to go on job interviews, different things like that, going out to social outings, things of that nature. And when you do, your ass is going to be 10 times worse than you are now from a social perspective. So there's a give and a take.
I agree.
But in my opinion, as time passes, the take is going to be way heavier than what you're getting from it, especially after you get used to it mentally. So I'm gonna leave that there.
So I got a question. Do y'all think that the further from like the basic things that we needed or the things that we defined as what made us human we get, the closer we get to our natural humanity with natural selection? Because what I'm hearing, it sounds like the the ability to work yourself into a high paying job or to have tangible skills you bring to the table increase your chances to have a child or create a family in this day and age. Initially, it wasn't like that. Only the strongest survived. The biggest men would, you know what I'm saying, or kings would have all of these women, and a lot of the men did not have those type of families. The further we get away from the current monetary system, or from men being able to work their way in as women's standards rise, the closer to true natural selection we get. I don't know what y'all think about that.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think what technology is going to do and what, chaotic has been advocating for, I think will create a further divide in class of men. And I think it'll be even more competition. Not only will the men have to be 6 feet tall, make six figures, have a six pack, but social skills is going to be added to that immediately. So now what's going to happen is there's going to be that number of high value men is going to shrink, and the demands of who they need to be is going to grow. And I think polygamy will happen for the majority of them, and AI will be substituted to everybody else so that, there isn't crazy turmoil.
I can see that.
But I think it's going to be a huge class divide of who can keep their humanity through this technological evolution, and who's just going to adapt to the times.
I feel like the irony is about the situation is that a lot of men look at the AI system and the metaverse as if they ducking the grind, as if they leaving, this challenging world that I'm in and going to a world that's more suitable for me and a world that's more easier for me. But fact is that, the more that takes a hold, you're going to run into the same challenges over there that you run into in real life. You still got to go over there and build yourself up. You still got to go over there and get money and be a social butterfly and things of that nature. Networking is still going to be important over there. So if you're struggling in real life and you think I'm about to go to this AI universe that y'all say is taking over the world, your words, not mine, and you think you're going to be able to go over there and just duck the grind and everything is going to come easy, you sadly mistaken. You're going to run into the same issues that you had in the real world because those issues are within you, but you still got to go over there and build it up. You don't
You're
just
taking it
it don't
with
just
you.
get handed to you.
So
when you get there.
Right.
So Trill, it's a line of thought. This isn't my particular line of thought because I think I suffer from this or whatever. I think you might suffer from this too. Your experience and how you've been treated dictates how your confidence level is and how you interact with other people. And because you had good treatment or a preferential treatment, the things that come easy to us that make our personality be able to flourish is the same reason other men. So I give you an example. If you were single and you was to go hit on a woman, it would be considered flirting. But if a man wasn't attractive, was short, it would be considered harassment. And that could shape the way you view the world. So maybe in the AI, it'll give them a chance to not have to have the lookist or heightest or all those things, and maybe potentially be able to exist in a space where they have a platform of equality, where they don't have that self-consciousness of all this previous projection and all those things. What you think?
But see, my only thing about that is that even when you go create those people in the metasphere, it's still part of you that's in it. Right, like you in charge of the interaction, you in charge of the conversation, you in charge. Like you can get somebody to represent you over there in terms of somebody that look good and handsome and all of these things. But fact is that it's still your mindset that's controlling it. So if you broken in the real world, you're gonna go over there and be broken as well. So even you're still gonna have to learn social skills. It's just not gonna be social skills in our world. There's gonna be social skills in that world. But my thing is that if you're struggling from a social perspective in this world and you think you're gonna just go over here and just because you get a new identity, things are gonna change, you're sadly mistaken. It's kind of similar to women in this world, right, who are very insecure. And then they go to Dr. Miami and spend that 5,000, 10,000, get their body done, get suited up and all of this, take their pictures on Instagram, and then they just automatically assume, okay, I'm gonna turn into a different person. But if you dealt with these women, you know good and well that insecurity does not go away. As a matter of fact, it gets worse. So that's not gonna fix it. People need to fix themselves so that way, regardless of what environment you in, you're gonna be able to thrive in. But ducking the grind in one and thinking it's gonna come easy in the other, you're setting yourself up for failure. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm just for the sake of argument putting this hypothesis out that I seen. It's a cartoon called Lookism. I don't know if anybody ever heard of it on Netflix. And what it is it's a guy. He's like a chubby guy, real awkward and weird, right? And when he goes to sleep, they take his personality and put in an attractive, athletic, tall guy. And the same person, but his life experience starts to differentiate like completely. Now people are wanting to hang around him, gifting him clothes. The stuff he says, the same exact jokes are now funny. His personality isn't a turnoff. It's just quirky. Like when the shell changes, just for sake of argument, when the shell changes, does that then change the way your confidence comes off? Because the things that can be negatives, in the less attractive shell, then become extreme or tolerable quirks.
I got a question for you though. Just one quick question on this. Do you believe in the idea of imposter syndrome?
I read my mind.
Imposter syndrome. Can you break down for me?
It's basically where, say for instance, like us, for example, right? You take somebody from the hood or whatever, and then you put them in this corporate job. They get a corporate job and they're around people that they just unfamiliar with. And regardless of how talented that we may really be, we don't feel like we belong there. Our outer shell is saying we do. We got the, we got the dress, we got the tie, we got the suitcase, we got the mannerisms. When I get up, I button that top button. When I sit down, like you got all of it down. But in your head, you don't feel like you belong there. And that causes you to kind of doubt yourself, and that kind of affects your ceiling and your confidence that you walk around with. So the reason I ask is that in that exact scenario you gave, I feel like imposter syndrome can cripple a person in that situation, even though they get in different interactions, but that person on the inside is still there. And the fact that you questioning yourself is only going to improve your quality of life so much, because you don't feel like you belong in this. This is not really who I am. People are falling in love with this symbol of me, not necessarily me, and that can cause you to conflict mentally. So that's why I asked it. But go
I
ahead,
want, I
Andreas.
want, I
I didn't mean to
100% think that's a thing. I'll probably reference, like, if you ever seen a girl that was fat when she was growing up and unattractive, and then as she got older, maybe her body changed and she got a BBL. She tends to still have a base good personality, and then with the looks, now she has a man that can get her married. You know what I'm saying? But that's an interesting concept. That's an interesting concept.
So I love this dialogue between the two of you, but I think with this, there's an added layer to it, right? Because when you're talking about, the big girl that lost weight, or the girl that went and got the surgery, or whatever it is, right? Those physical changes are real. Whereas with this whole AI thing, metaverse thing, they're not, right? So no matter how much confidence you build in this alternate universe, you still wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth, and you're not physically the person that you're presenting online, right? I think it's so far past imposter syndrome at that point that I think maybe we need to come up with a new term for it, because the physical changes are no longer real.
But see, here's the thing. Pardon me, Coach. Here's the thing, though. Like, even in situations like that, people have it to where, like, as soon as I get up, I can tap into this. I can put this uniform on immediately, and that could cause them not to feel the way that you're saying that they should feel, or that they do feel, because I don't necessarily have to deal with real life as much. I can wake up, and you're right. When I wake up, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking in that mirror, I see this person that I'm uncomfortable with. But as soon as I put that toothbrush down, I can go log in, put my headset on, and I'm immediately somebody else. So I feel like because it's so easy to just jump into it, that it may not cause them to be as devastated every time that they look at themselves in the mirror. It's just like a chick who insecure with her face. First thing she do when she get up in the morning, brush her teeth, put the makeup on immediately. It don't matter if she got an event. She could be going to the mailbox. She could be going wherever. She put that makeup on quick, jump on Instagram, and I can be who I want to be, right? I only got to deal with the real me for so much time out of the day. And that right there could cause a hurdle in that ideology that you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's in a way of getting to what I was talking about with the artificial stuff, as far as if you don't like the way you look, for example, and you eat or you drink or whatever, it does soothe it for a little bit, but at some point you're gonna face, and too, deep down, what it actually is. So then I don't know. I think I just lost my train of thought. Either way, you're going to wake up. But the last thing I was going to say was, we're still so behind as far as, we know so much about the brain, and we're so advanced when it comes to, I like to say neuropsychology, but the society has not advanced. We're still looking at, our brain as far as if it's determinism or relativism, but we know at the quantum level that we can change our thoughts and actually change the brain, honestly. So it's interesting how that's going to throw things, and then you add Neuralink and stuff. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm kind of scared too.
I'm just going to jump on here and say just a couple things. I know we joked a little bit. First, we can't downplay what technology is capable of, and how quickly it advances. The second thing I want to touch on. Have a good night, B. Taylor. The second thing I want to touch on is back to the original question. I prefer to meet people organically. Meeting online just it doesn't work for my personality style. And like just the way I am, it's a lot easier if I meet you, I know where you're at, I know where you're going, you know where I'm coming from. You can look me in my eyes, I can look you in your eyes, and we can have real dialogue, as opposed to meeting somebody online through a chat or whatever is used now. Um, you can be you can totally misrepresent yourself. What do you call it? Catfish. You can totally be somebody you are not. The risk of that, meeting somebody in person, having a conversation with them, is so much smaller. You know you're going to already meet their best representative until you tear away those layers, right? But you reduce, and this is just for me, you reduce all of that uh, uh pretending. It makes it much more difficult to pretend in person. So I'm not gonna go on a date with somebody that I met online. I'm just not gonna do it. If I didn't meet you in person, we likely will never ever go on a date until I do meet you in person.
What the wild part about that is, AP, is that's because so much of your foundation was established before social media. And that's why I feel privileged to be in the generation we in, right? We got to experience both sides of it. I had to go pull women in person. I had to go get numbers in person. I had to interact with them in person. But when the social media came, then okay, I guess I can learn this too, but it's easier for me to transition. But my base is still outside of it. But I say that to say generations after us, that's gonna be their foundation.
Yeah.
So the same way you feel like, you can portray anything you want to, the scary part is the generation after us, their perception is going to be their reality because their foundation was built in this space, in this chaos that we, dealing with right now. So that is scary. Going back to what Coach K said.
Yeah, and let me add to that because when women say this is something I attribute to the social skills argument. Men don't have social skills. I would like women to know that's partly your fault. That is partly your fault. Men, especially even husbands, get a large part of their social skills by women interacting with them, knowing what you like, knowing what your interests are, watching the expressions on your face when they make corny jokes. If women are going to give men the Heisman, not even in the sense of a romantic relationship, but in a pure, sincere interaction, right? They're going to call you an incel. They're going to do all this stuff and leave you out there. How are you supposed to get those social skills? That's why I'm saying where women don't realize this is a twofold problem on all sides.
So, Trigger Mike, I need you to go get your cap back, because the amount of men that I have seen say that, hang on a second. Let me prove my point. The amount of men I've heard say things like that and still show up to work as functional social human beings. Mm-hmm. Like that, there's this weird idea that skills don't transfer over from professional skills to romantic skills. If you can have a conversation with Susie and Sally at work and not come off as a creep, you absolutely could do that when you're talking to, women that you're trying to engage with. There's this weird thing where men have more social skills than they give themselves credit for. It's this looking for approval to be creepy, as if it's still the 1940s, 1950s, and that's socially acceptable. You don't do that at work. I don't understand why you're doing that at the bar or at the club or at the library.
I absolutely understand your point. And that's because just like the work argument, that's where men are forced to excel, right? You're forced to interact with your coworkers, your colleagues, and your peers. What I'm really getting at is that men will only do, especially in the dating arena, what women require. Mm-hmm. So if ass is being given up before any social skills are required, or in that sense where women aren't requiring much, right? So they looking at they think they get an accurate picture of you from your timeline, right? So the coolest dudes, right, that just got their hands in their pockets, like, yeah, we can go to Ruth's Chris, whatever you want to do. That's all that they're requiring. That's what I'm really saying. If women want men to have social skills, require more. Don't even put that on your profile. Do not interact with men without adequate social skills. Must be able to hold a conversation. Do not send me any 3-letter text. Like, make that a requirement, and you will start to see changes from men in general. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. We settle for the
It's
bare
fine.
minimum.
I'm sorry. For as many women, I need you to go get your cap. As many women to say that men don't have social skills be responding like a motherfucker to them WYD texts. Okay? They be responding to them shits.
Yeah, we settle for the bare minimum sometimes. I agree, because if we settle for just DMs every time, like you said, somebody saying what you doing, bare minimum, we're responding. He got his cap now, but we're always responding in that case. But if we don't, we set the standard. If we tired of text, then you better tell him to call or don't respond back to his text. But if you if you don't set the standard, he'll do whatever he wants to do as long as you allow it. But if you're just silent and let that happen, that's on you.
Dog, I mean, listen, every fella on this, oh man, it's fly ass ladies, man. So every dude here has been in this bag where it's just not even, I won't say doing bare minimum, but almost on accident. You entertaining maybe one too many, and there's one that takes herself seriously. You got the number, you try to do with that woman what you did with the rest. Look, the story I'm gonna tell, this woman didn't even text me back. She called me. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Trying to give the smooth. Excuse me, sir. I'm not one of these chicks. If you want to see me again, if you want me to interact with you, and you give me a call. And I was like, oh shit. Well, yes, man. Require something. That's all I'm saying for the women. I'm not trying to blame you outright. I'm trying to get you married. If you really want to know, require something and watch how quick these boys step up to the plate. Shit, that's where the real competition start, right? So that's all I'm saying.
I just want to say one quick thing, because I know I'm sure we're not going too much longer, but with the imposter syndrome, and I'm sure Trill will agree with this, I think a lot of times too, people have imposter syndrome about the things that they are achieving, the work that they are doing, that they love to dismiss because it's, oh, well, yeah, but I did this after I went to a community college. It's like, stop it. You're doing the same thing, but the alternative way. So just something to think about.
Trill, real quick, I'm curious. I'm not that much older than most of you guys. Like,
stop lying. Stop lying, AP. Stop.
Bro, I'm 41.
I'm 33.
I'm much older than you.
25.
I mean, like
39.
Yeah, Lee. Never mind. I take that statement back.
No. But real quick though, that's why I categorized all us the same. I said our generation is the last generation who got some foundation in before this social media stuff hit. Like we had to become who we were before social media. The generation after my generation, they ain't got that. They was kids when Instagram was out. It was kids when, you know what I'm saying, Facebook is out. Like when we was kids, it wasn't no social media. Social media didn't come into play until my 11th grade year, 10th grade year, something like that.
And it all started with chat rooms.
Most of who I was established already.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the things I struggle with, because we was born in the era of from publicity where everybody else had to speak for you. And it was really weird for you to walk in the room and say, hey, y'all, I'm X, Y, and Z. And in this era, you have to self-promote. And it's hard for me to do it because I feel like, man, that's like, it's against the nature of who I am. It's so like, I can't really, I think you might understand what I'm saying. You want to come to a conversation and be like, all of these prerequisites should speak for themselves. Like back in the day with sports or something, right? It was only 2 or 3 legacy magazines, Chicago Tribune or the Chicago Sun-Times. Only 1 to 2 people could be that guy. So if you was that guy, everybody knew it. Now I could average 100 and have the same amount of Instagram followers as somebody who averaged 2, but promotes himself all day, every day. It's super weird to me. I'm not gonna lie, it's super weird.
No, and it's interesting because going back to what Coach K was saying about the dopamine hits, I don't know how much y'all keep up with the social media algorithms in order to promote yourself efficiently, but Instagram released their requirements for their algorithm in order for your content to be pushed. It is absolutely wild. Like if you are not doing it full time, you're never going to be pushed. Their new requirements, I literally sat back and I was like, I might as well delete Instagram at this point. Like, and not that I'm really active on it, but it's, you're going to be glued to your phone, and they're doing it intentionally. They're fighting for competition amongst other social media apps, that if you're not constantly glued to that specific app, then you are not the person being promoted on that app, right? And so with the younger generation, that clout is so much more important to them than character, than social skills, that it's only reinforcing that drug, that dopamine. I genuinely don't know if these younger kids, kind of 15 and under, growing up, if their brains are going to be able to function the way that we understand the brain to function, because they're so used to that one strand of instant dopamine hits that, like, their brain is going to calcify with those particular neural pathways, right? That I think we'll see how human beings function completely change moving forward.
Yeah, so that was very profound.
Immune to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, over time to where it ain't gonna be as much of an outlier as it is now, because that generation again grew up in it. They programmed to be it, so all of them gonna think that way. That's gonna become the norm. We just gonna become dinosaurs.
Yeah,
That's the wild part about it.
That was very profound, Ina. So clout is the new currency, and dopamine is the new cash. It's the new currency. Okay, so you got to understand dopamine and getting that rise out of people, the clicks, the amount of time you scroll and stop, all of that equals cash. All right, I had to work a very long time on my marketing strategy for my business to understand how that worked. So they have really got it down to a science to say, the more you get excited, I can turn this into dollars. Right? I still don't even understand why people are afraid. Like, hey, I just looked at this on my phone. Now it's on my Instagram. The government watching me. No, this is algorithmic. They understand exactly. They just keep putting it in front of you. Keep putting it in front of you.
And they're selling it to the government.
Exactly. You're going to buy. You know, it increases your chances to buy. And like Trill said, that's just going to be normal. We telling the kids to go outside. We just gonna waste our breath. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that like those things translate to real life benefit. Let's just be honest here. Like if a dude got 200,000, 500,000 subscribers on Instagram, and they real followers, not paid for, because a lot of niggas out there paying, and that's a different conversation for the other day. I'm talking about real followers, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 followers. He may not even be that attractive, but he gonna be able to get pretty women. He gonna be able to get monetary opportunities. It's gonna be sponsorships reaching out to put money in his pockets. And I ain't talking about small money. I'm talking about, hey, we'll give you 5 bands for 2 posts a month and different stuff like that. So a lot of that, what we call clout, that translate to real life benefit, man. Like it's dudes literally hosting clubs just because they got a following. It's dudes that's getting movie roles because they got a following. Music career started because they got a following. So you know, it's a situation where like damn near going on what Trigger Mike say, damn near if you tell your kids, hey man, get away from that, go outside, you damn near crippling them in the society that's coming. So you damn near want to create a social media for your kid at a young age, so that way when they get of age, they already lit.
I already did. Just
to give you guys a little bit of insight also on some of the things that young men think. Like my son, he, depending on your score, your Instagram score, he won't even talk to you. Like he won't even give a female an opportunity. There was one, her score was so high, he was like, you know, she's too busy for a boyfriend. I'm not even gonna deal with it. Like it's insane. So I think that it's gonna be 2 extremes on it. One, she'll just call us dinosaurs, but I think there's going to be young men and young women that say, hey, you know, that's not the way I move. And then there's going to be young men and young women that say, hey, that's the only way I move. So I just think that we can't discount that there is, regardless if they're the minority or the majority. Now, I don't know. I've never looked up the data. There is a set of kids coming up that don't want to have anything to do with it.
I have a question. What's the Instagram score?
Marcus, what exactly is the Instagram score? Snap score. I'm sorry. He's explaining it to me. I'm sorry, y'all.
Snapchat?
Yeah.
Young
Oh,
people,
yeah.
I don't know
For the
what it is,
streets.
but they use Snapchat so much.
For the streets. Ooh.
I thought it
So-
died, but whatever.
No Snapchat. Oh no.
So
No, my-
Snapchat score is based on a couple of things. So one, how many interactions you have, how many posts you have, how consistently you can interact with people. There's a whole lot of factors that go into it. But I wanted to say this to what AP was saying. I don't know if y'all have watched
Okay.
Black Mirror. If you
Yeah.
haven't, definitely look into it. Because social credit is not just a thing that's in China. It is going to have its own variation over on this side of the world. And social media is going to have a huge factor in that, like an absolutely astronomical factor in that.
So from what I just gathered, uh, basically it calculates how often you snap, how often you send out, and how often you're on your phone, and also how often you're actually on Snapchat. The more you do it, the higher your score goes. The higher your score goes, basically, the more people that open up to you to have more access to. That's nuts. That is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Inaz had broke it down when
So
you went
it's
off.
basically
When you went off.
measuring like how real of a person you are, right? Because like it's a lot of people that got Snapchats and they ain't really that active, but they frauding like they somebody else. But I guess that score is a direct reflection of like, okay, this is a real person. This is somebody who active on here. This is somebody who got a lot of interactions with people. Okay, so now I feel more comfortable, right? Compared to somebody that's trying to, impersonate somebody else. Because a lot of people do that on Snap. You can send people pictures and like short little clips, and people be literally downloading your pictures and your clips from Instagram or TikTok or wherever and posting it in a Snapchat or posting it in a Instagram the same way. You see what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of fraudulence going on.
So to that point,
crazy.
Trill, I think there's going to be a huge change in algorithms in the next few years with the surge of deep fakes. I don't know if y'all know what that is. I think that's going to totally change the game of the way
Scary.
people perceive reality, because
Yeah.
fakes will 100% change what's
yeah.
real and what's fake.
That they're getting better, and I think the worst part about it is that coupled with AI is going to make it really, really bad. Like right now, I can tell that it's a deep fake, but they say they're just getting better year over year, and you're not going to be able to tell. So the worst part about deep fakes, I tell people, is that you imagine. So this is how men are screwed in the workplace when it comes to SA claims and harassment claims. It's not the fact that you did it or not. The accusation already ruined you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what deep fakes are gonna do. So it's like your reputation. They can literally put my face up in here. Trigger Mike said Coach K and she did the blah blah blah, and it's just gonna be me and my mouth moving, and somebody gonna believe it, and a group of people that believe it gonna go viral. And before I could attack it, I'm already canceled. That's gonna be crazy, bro. The Bible coming true, bearing false witness against your neighbor, boy. I'm telling you.
You know what? I'm just looking at y'all. I need to get me one of the microphones so I can be like this, because y'all look so official with the microphones. I just wanted to point that out.
No doubt. Let me know.
You gonna send me one? Get out of here. Whatever.
You gonna cash at me first? What does it look like? No, you gonna cash at me.
I can Amazon myself.
I was about to say this is no. I'm the to get just to let me know. I'll let you know which one I got though. Whole setup done for you already.
All right, let's do these super chats. Unless somebody wanted to piggyback off what True Mike said. Anyway, okay, let's do these super chats. Mike.
All right. Christopher B, $50. Why is the starting point of most conversations regarding black men centered around least productive black men? What happens when we discuss certain issues and limit the discussion to productive black men without reverting to the you need to level up conversation?
Well, I think the discussion was on, for clarification, the discussion was just on those men. We know that majority black men are productive individuals, but this conversation was basically about what the CNN guy was talking about.
So somebody go wake B Taylor up so we can let her know, because that's not the vibe I got. I'm just saying I want to get on.
I guess
Go wake her up so I can let her know. All right, Robert Platinum, $2 says Coach K is so cute. A bunch of hearts and stuff. Kobe Jordan X, $5. I think it's immature for one party in a relationship to say things aren't seen as equal. Men and women aren't equal. Sacrifice is a lost art. Mature up. Robert Platinum, $2. Y'all equals incel. I equals Duracell. Yeah, man. I don't know. Robert Platinum, $2.
Thanks for money.
Nowadays, women want a horse. Anybody care to elaborate?
And nobody want their horse.
Oh, all right. Robert Platinum, $5. I don't know what to do. I got turned down by all the ladies, and now my hands left me. I saw my bottle of Nivea running down the street. Hey, Nivea is not. I'm gonna shut up. You got to get that cheap
Nivea
dollar
what?
store.
Okay, go ahead.
You got to get that cheap dollar store cocoa butter. That Nivea is too thick, bro. All right, Robert Platinum, $2. My handshakes are sponsored by Nivea. Sir Shy, $2. Coach K, appreciate you, and I love Shan, of course.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Brian Logan, $10. Black China made $250 million on OnlyFans. Was that confirmed? Crazy. When I saw that number, was that confirmed?
I know. Listen, I know of a young lady who she was. There's this guy that used to date my friend who managed her, and this girl made all this money off of OnlyFans. And I thought to myself, and she's not even. I mean, men have a different type of attraction than women. So to you, she may be like, "Oh," but I was just like,
"What did you think to yourself?" Because you paused. You say, and I thought to myself, "What was that thought?"
I was like, "This is what y'all are into," and it was. I mean, she's like, almost like a big girl, but just super big. I mean, her waist is small, but it's like if her waist was not small, she would be a big girl. She would be Lizzo. It's just the waist that kind of stopped the Lizzo movement.
So I think there's a few things that's going for Black China. One is that like she has notoriety, so people are probably subscribing out of curiosity.
For sure.
Two, there's a bit of nostalgia behind her, so some people are just support the cause, right? And three, I think the porn searches support the dollar amount that people are claiming she's making, right? Like whether you're attracted to it or not, that stimulation that comes from watching it is very different, right? So I think regardless of what you think of her as a person, whether she's wife material, whether you find her attractive or not, there's a market where she sells. And I honestly think that number is very realistic for her.
I'll tell you another one. We gotta talk about the Kardashian ties. Because again, clout matters in that space.
Yeah. I mean, she is the mother of Rob Kardashian's child.
I completely forgot. Harrison Davis, $5. Damn. Wow. I'm like, can dudes make money on OnlyFans? I compromise it all for that. I'm sorry.
Yep. They call them gay though. They do. They call them gay for doing it. That's real. But a lot of dudes get to the bag on that.
Yeah. Wait. They said, I'm sorry. Men do different stuff. They say you got to cater to old women. You got to like read books in your black voice. Black male with gray beards. Like it's weird stuff, but they say men don't got to do the same thing. Fellas, we should start a brain trust for this. By the end of the year, we making $1 million or what?
So, to what you were saying.
You gotta just read.
That stat only makes sense on porn sites, not on OnlyFans, because on porn sites it's the producers that pay. It's not the people who are uploading the video that make the money, right? Like that at home stuff where people are sending it in, they're not making the money, but people were promoting that movement, and so they were paying those actors to do that specific search more. But OnlyFans is a totally different ballgame because people market themselves, and so they're able to make money on their own doing the content that they want to do.
OnlyFans is wild. I found out one of my panelists today was on OnlyFans, and if I told y'all what she did for a living, day job, y'all be like, what? All right, Anthony Brian Logan became a member. Shout out to you, sir. Carlisle Tom, $10. Wait until dudes start implementing their options over the AI they got at home. Their bank account's going to be $0. Congo English, 25. What's up, my man? Coach K, David Goggins, can't hurt me, never finish. You genuine soul. Thank you. Stay you. Bob, my man, $5. I'm 47. If you like a girl, you had to go up to her. I see these young dudes nowadays and they have no verbal game. No lie there. Congo English, $30. Trigger, Shan, Coach K, Trill, great show. Have a good night. Godspeed. Appreciate all the contributions. Shan, take it
Yes,
away.
and the fact that he said have a good night and my phone is
Oh,
ringing
yes.
because I bring the party. People are like, where you at, girl? And I'm like, I'm in here talking on the podcast. So, you guys have any last words that you like to?
I find it funny that you get ready for bed in the middle of the podcast every time.
I didn't get ready for bed. I got cold. And so I put this on.
You look snug. I'm jealous.
Yes. I was cold. I'm like, oh my God, did it get nippy outside real fast? Like, come on.
No, we got like what the hell is going on? We got a nor'easter or something. I had to bring the sweaters back out.
Yes, that was
This
cold,
is not Houston.
honey.
This is not Houston in March. This is very
I want to hear no
uncharacteristic.
complaints about the cold. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
girl.
well, we don't. I mean, that's y'all in Canada. Y'all can still ski. That's not what we got going down here. We going to the beach this month. I'm supposed to be going to Schlitterbahn any week now. So I'm just saying.
Schlitterbahn.
Any words?
Schlitterbahn. Look it up.
Are we gonna go to DC? Didn't he say something about DC?
Oh yeah.
Set in stone.
The first live show the first one's gonna be in DC. So second one Chicago of the year for this year.
Chi-town.
Okay.
Oh, what's up? Y'all
I
gonna
can
be
drive
out there
to
or
DC.
what?
I can't drive to
Man,
Chicago.
Oh, that's where
Look.
my people at. I'm cutting the rug. You know what I mean?
That'd
That's my side of the.
We'll have to
DC's
talk
where
about
it's
it.
at.
in a sec.
Are you gonna come, Coach K?
Are you ready to be around this many black people, Coach K? I just want to know.
You do not know.
Bro, she's in Ohio, right?
I'm
In
at
Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's Cincinnati.
Oh no, you ain't been around.
Wait, what?
Cincinnati.
The
And I
population is
got
like
my bill,
50
but
50.
they got
I'm thinking
I know-
about
I was about to say,
Cleveland.
I know
So maybe
nothing
she
about
had.
No,
I know
the
that.
population is like 50 50. But yeah, well, I'm more so like, well, we'll talk about it. Is that or something? I want to know, yeah. Anyway.
Rojo's
yeah.
custom card therapy, $5. Missed the days where this show went into the early AM. You don't know the new Shan.
I used to
Come on,
look.
outta here.
Look. Listen, Sharon is dating, and my guy has stick. He's like, yo, you've been on that phone, you've been on that internet for the longest.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. Yup. Your future take precedence.
Nobody likes me being on here. I'm trying to find that guy who doesn't mind. Like it's Friday night.
Good luck.
Invite him to the panel.
Nah,
Don't you
nah,
do it.
nah. Nah.
Don't you do
why,
it.
why you setting her up like that? Enos?
We
I
gonna
mean,
do
we
this.
could give you an accurate
Yeah,
assessment.
Y'all
this
not gonna
chat-
vet
Give
this
you an accurate
man
assessment.
This
after
chat has
talking
no
about vetting men. Y'all not gonna vet this man on her behalf. Y'all don't.
I
care
just
about
said I
it?
would. Yeah,
Because
we
I be
can give out.
screwing
Hey,
up.
look,
I be
hey,
screwing
look.
up so bad. I don't be knowing how to pick them, child. Like I'm just so gullible. I'm just.
Now look, the chat.
Marcus try to help me, but he stopped answering the phone when I be needing him. I can't do it. Marcus always sleep.
Always.
A busy man.
Thank you, Trill. I talk to my lawyer, Trill. I'm not taking no more questions. Seriously.
Thank you,
Nah,
Marcus.
man. But as far as last words, man, I just want to say I appreciate y'all having me, man. I definitely enjoyed this conversation. I was tired as hell today. I ain't gonna lie to you, but y'all livened me up. This shit was productive for sure. Salute to y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
same.
you,
Thank you for
Trill,
having me.
for letting us borrow your. Y'all don't understand. I've been asking Trill for like the last 7 weeks. I finally got a yes. I was like, yes.
Schedule be crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Schedule be crazy lately, man. But tonight was, you know what I'm saying? Tonight was one of the ones, man. Salute to y'all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We usually
Same.
have a lot of fun, Trill. It's like a laid back vibe. Like it don't be too much. Even the stuff that could be contentious, we all start laughing and giggling. And
Right.
shit, you know?
It's
You know what I'm
always-
saying?
I try not to give my opinion. I be getting people be Googling my opinion and it be messing up my relationships. I'm just gonna ask the question and sit back and listen. Because that shit be coming back to bite me. I ain't got time for it.
You should
I've
get you a
got to admit,
Snapchat and then just change it, like change your name and really go ham there, because you might have some crazy stuff to say.
It be messing
no,
me
you
up.
know what? I've got to admit, I love it when Chaotic's on because he always picks the wrong female to go after on the wrong topic. And it's hilarious.
Well, he
Last
knows
time it
B.
was
Taylor is not going to sit here for that. So I
The
don't know
boy's a
what that was
genius, man.
about.
last time it
That
was
boy's a
Enos.
genius.
This time it was B. Taylor, and it was just the wrong topic to go after her on. It's like,
Man,
oh,
he
bro,
is
she about to wear
constantly
your ass
trolling.
out. But
Chaotic
it,
was tired tonight, so we're gonna give him a little grace because I
nah,
texted
hell
him,
no.
"Yo, what you doing, man? What, you sleep?" He was like, "All right." Then he tried to wake up. But if
I give no
we ever
grace.
get B. Taylor again, we're gonna see. B. Taylor,
But
he on your bumper for next time.
it was nice meeting you, Chelsea. It was nice
Yes.
sharing a panel with you again, Trill.
Yes,
Very
you're welcome
pleasant.
back anytime.
Very pleasant.
Thank you.
We
Nice
bet
meeting y'all.
thoroughly for this show, and you can come to the cookout.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
I'm thankful for
Next
a peaceful
week-
panel. That's important. Peaceful panels. I deal with that. That's
We'll
it.
have a
I feel
long
that.
one next week. I got to put it on my calendar
You ain't gonna allow that. Go ahead.
to have a long one next week. Listen, as long as Mike can close it out, I'm all good. I just can't close out. I used to stay up all night long. I used to be up there like this with Logic, and they still be talking. And so I got tired of seeing myself like on clips, like literally falling asleep. Nah, y'all not gonna get me like that. Nope.
So Black China got famous off a sex tape.
She was a stripper.
She was
and
a
she dated
stripper.
Tiger.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
Tiger
Had a baby
dumbass.
by Tiger.
Listen,
So,
man, how,
so she got famous off another dude.
Yeah, rap.
Yeah, and then she got
okay.
real famous when she, because Tiger left her for one of
Kylie.
the
Amber
Jenners,
Rose.
Kylie.
and then she went back and dated the brother.
Oh,
and
that's
when
right.
just-
Uncle Dad, I remember. That's what they were calling
Right.
that dude. God
Because we love toxicity.
damn.
Again, but
I mean,
a
she is
female that got popular off a man's work. Like
I mean,
kind of what I
women
just
do.
heard.
That's what they do, right? You're
No,
man.
that
what?
like I'm cool with that. Like real talk, I'm cool with that. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Like
I was gonna say,
if
we
she's
can't
following
knock
this
them for seizing
program,
opportunity. We
Black.
can't
But-
knock them for
but she's a. I mean, again, she was a stripper. I got a whole nother conversation about that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, we can't even get on her. It's Tiger dumbass fault. Like, what are you doing, bro?
We're gonna start doing it late nights, and I drop the link for the people who know how to act right. Because I heard y'all be acting a fool, you little trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Coach K. She the number one troll across panels. She be in there
Who?
fighting. And Coach K. Y'all don't know Coach K like I know Coach K. She got a whole.
Marcus, I don't like what you're doing right now.
She be gang banging.
First of all, don't nobody believe him right
Y'all
now.
don't even know it.
I was gonna
First up,
say,
Coach K, what are you on?
Coach
It's
K,
past
gangster,
your
y'all don't even
bedtime.
know it. Coach K, be
You are
fighting with-
smooth 11 p.m. What you still?
what are you,
You
talking
are
about?
smooth.
It just
You are
it
smooth
just-
11 p.m. But all right, guys, gotta go.
It
In the
just
back-
depends. It depends. Well, sometimes I have to get up really early, so it just depends. All right, I feel like I'm being attacked. Like what?
Girl,
Coach
they
K,
just
you
talking. They had nobody else to come at, so they came for you. That's
Get
all.
Chelsea.
Marcus just
She's
talking.
new. No, just kidding.
No, ain't gonna get me.
She ain't said enough. to do it.
Somebody else under the
Chelsea's
bus.
a new boo.
Yeah.
Leave Chelsea alone. She's a new boo, so she can come back.
Coach K, you don't
Y'all
be
love
fighting
running people
with
out. Let me
I'm
say
here.
that.
I ain't
You have to tell me what you're talking about. It just depends. It's only when it's warranted, or when people bring up race and I get tired of it. That's about it. It just depends, though. I like picking though at people. That's fun. But I'm usually kidding. So
I know
you'll
you're
know.
joking, but you
Like
be
me
on.
and Sugar Bomb, we're tight.
Yeah, I can see
So-
that. Sugar Bomb go hard. Y'all might not know who Sugar Bomb and Robin to me. There you. Oh my God.
Oh, you be on the
Coach
fight club,
K.
Coach K?
That's where. Well, I think that's where I first started. Where I showed up on a panel one time.
Really? I went on
yeah.
one time. It was fun. And then I did the Black House.
I did see that. That was a good conversation, I think. I did see. Oh, what are you doing, Marcus? No, that was.
Why is he
well,
laughing?
that
Like
was
you didn't like me in the Black House, Marcus? Are you not the Speaker of the House anymore? Did they demote you?
Oh,
Re-elected?
Marcus. See,
Back
Marcus,
chat
look what
time.
you did.
Back chat. Back chat. We want to wish a good night to everybody on the group.
You're not the Speaker of the House anymore, Marky Mark?
Oh, girl, ladies are so no.
You're not?
Bessie.
Something wrong with the
Bessie.
camera.
I don't
Something
know.
wrong with the
I'm
camera.
asking. Are you the
We'll
Speaker
have
of
to
the
talk.
House?
So Trigger Mike said
Marcus.
this is an offline conversation and bid everybody a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Until
All right,
next
good
time.
night, you guys. Thank you guys for being with us here on the Chic Critique. We'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ta-ta. Marcus, what?